This show is 1,000 times better than any radio or TV show because of Peter and actually interacting with the fan. I love the fans. I mean, this is what I envision. When I started this show at the radio station and it was 1,000 watts and we had nobody calling in and we had to create these characters, and I always talk about Rich from Clearwater and the reason why that vehicle was created because we didn't have any callers. So we had to create callers, and we gave the callers the opportunity to call in twice. And we used to give them the walk-up music. And damn it, I would do the walk-up music if it was not for copyright on Facebook or YouTube. But I am monetized now, so I have to mind my P's and Q's. But I love that. I love interacting with the Tampa Bay sports fan. Sean, the sports don, loved interacting with the sports fan. This is what this was built on. This is what this show was all about. Whether it's one person watching, 10 people watching, 100 people watching, 1,000 people watching, 10,000 people watching, 100,000 people watching, 1 million, which is the goal of this show, it doesn't matter. We're always going to interact with you because you mean something and you are the lifeblood of this show. going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition, your happy
Hump Day
edition of the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. And how do we start off this show as we do here on a Monday, Wednesday, when there's breaking news? And there is some breaking news right now that we will get to in just a moment. You know them, you love them, you got to have them. So here you go. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. Nikita Kucherov with 100 assists as the Tampa Bay Lightning are defeating right now the Toronto Maple Leafs 5-1. And this is the significance, and I get it. Somebody said you shared this to a Rays group. I realize that we will be talking about the Tampa Bay Rays. Of course, we will be talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, you know, it's okay. We'll go ahead and share it to the sites. Hopefully you like it. Hopefully you call in. Last check, the Rays were also losing to the Angels 3-2. We'll get back to that in a moment. But according to our good friend TJ Reeves of the Buccaneer Radio Network, Mario Lemieux, Bobby Orr, Connor McDavid, and Nikita Kucherov, both this year, McDavid and Kucherov, both this year, and Gretzky 11 times, 100 assists. Amazing. If Kucherov is not the MVP, I don't know who is. So the phone lines are open if you want to talk about your Tampa Bay Lightning as they will play the stinking Florida Panthers starting this weekend. I believe it's Saturday. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Only 8 days away. I said 8 days. From that sound right there, the NFL draft. Who did the Bucs draft? Who do you want them to go after? Is it a corner? Is it a wide receiver? Is it an edge rusher? Is it an interior lineman? Or is it somebody I'm not mentioning? We'll go through the mock drafts with you. As always, we will get you ready for the draft. To answer your question right now, I have no earthly idea where we will be doing a draft show. But if you know somewhere and you want to suggest it and you want to bring the evolution of sports talk television to that bar or to your establishment, get in touch with me at 727-255-0391. Rays losing last check. We talked about that. They won last night in extra innings, 7-6. So good for the Rays. And then, of course, we're going to have Leo Haggerty, the legend himself, former coach, scout, and now media member of Night Sports Productions, Amped Up Sports. We'll be talking about the Cooch accomplishment with the Lightning. Do they have an opportunity to really make some things interesting in the Stanley Cup playoffs? So we will be talking about hockey, of course, basketball, the Orlando Magic. How about that? They're back in the playoffs versus the Cleveland Cavaliers on Saturday. So there is a plethora of things to talk about, not just Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tampa Bay Rays, Tampa Bay Lightning, Orlando Magic, NFL draft rumors, and of course the award-winning, I don't think it's award-winning yet, but it should be turnbuckle talk with former XPW announcer, Mr. Mark Mancini, talking about WWE and AEW action. I just want to say this because I want to get out to the phone calls, but I want to kind of vent for a moment. You know, I do this show and people are like, you know, you are really BSing when you say the fans don't mean something. And they do. Because I probably had my single worst sales period this Monday. I have not been sent home in 5 years from my sales job. Got sent home. And you know what? I didn't cause a ruckus. I got into the Uber because I'm carpooling with Roger Shue, the tribal troll himself.
Acknowledge me.
I'm trying to feel down about it. But then again, I'm like, you know what? Monday night, I should go live, but I'm not going to. I'm going to rest. I'm going to relax. I'm going to recharge the batteries, get everybody ready to go on Wednesday night. You guys mean that much to me. And you know what happened? I got into that Uber, was 2 hours off the phone, and still kicked everybody's ass on the sales floor because of you guys. Thank you very much. Now, open phone line, 727-255-0391. 0391 872-7255-0391. So there you go. That's my source of motivation. No matter what happens, no matter if it's your first job, your sales job, obstacles in your way, do what you love to do. And guys, we wouldn't be able to do that without fans like you. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get our participants on. Here's my co-host, the handicapper extraordinaire of the sports web. Here we go. Mr. Harry the Greek, welcome to the evolution of sports talk television. Only 8 days away, but the big news of the night, Nikita Kucherov with 100 assists, joining again Mario Lemieux.
Really? That's the big news?
Well, I mean, I tell you right now, we're
big news. You know what the big news is? Wow, did you see that?
The cat just jumped there. Did the vertical
The
leap
Chicago White Sox split a doubleheader. They've won their third game this year. That's big news.
Wow, third game. Okay.
Third game. That's it, baby. We're going all the way.
All the way, baby.
All the way.
World Series. All right. Yes. So your cat jumps across the screen.
Hi, Peter. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing great, buddy. And like
can I introduce the next guy coming up, because I feel like I owe it to him.
Well, go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and play a sound effect.
Go ahead,
Dano.
All right, here we go. Let's go ahead. You go ahead and introduce him. I'll play the music. Go.
The man, the myth, the absolute legend, Mr. Leo Haggerty, and my dear friend as well. Leo, welcome to the show, buddy.
Here we go. There you go, Mr. Leo Haggerty. We got to start out there. We usually start with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Welcome to the Sports Web. But I feel like we would be remiss if we didn't start with Nikita Kucherov, who to me is having an amazing year, an MVP type of year for this Tampa Bay Lightning team, and now 100 assists. It just continues to get better and better. Welcome to the evolution, my friend.
Well, Peter, thanks for having me. And Harry, it's good to see you, buddy.
Leo, how are you doing, my friend? How you been, brother?
Getting there, you know. Got a little bit of a sunburn out there Saturday, right, Peter, at the USF. But
wish I could have joined you guys.
I know you would, and I actually got some sun. It's nice to be, a normal human being instead of like, Casper the ghost and being told, you're too white. Yeah, I got a little bit of color in my face, so I look healthier. It's nice.
Yes, Peter, you actually do look a little bit healthier. Not much. You're still Casper, though. You're never going to get that dark skin like Mr. Leo.
That's BS. That's BS, because now you just said that, and it's going to be a motivational thing, if I could talk, here the next couple of months to get that tan on, because I am part Sicilian, so I can make it work. Trust me.
Oh, my God.
Trust
what,
me.
2%?
I'm more. Trust me.
Peter, there's nothing Italian about you,
Peter?
buddy.
Which toe, the big toe or the pinky?
Yeah. Part Sicilian. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a little personal.
I'm 2% Indian.
That's on another show. You'll have to ask some other people about that, all that other toe stuff. All right, Kucherov.
What's happening?
Yes, I don't know what's happening. I don't know where we're going to go here. Harry, thanks a lot for taking the show and bringing it off the rails, as you always do.
I never bring it off the rails.
Sure. All right, so what do we make of this, Leo? I mean, what a great accomplishment by Kucherov here. 100 assists. Once again, our good friend, TJ Reeves of the Buccaneer Radio Network, Lemieux or Connor McDavid this year, and now Kucherov. Of course, Gretzky did it 11 times. But still an amazing accomplishment by Kuch, right?
Peter, I don't think people realize how big an accomplishment it was. Lemieux's a center. Gretzky's a center. Connor McDavid, he's a center.
Yeah.
So that means he can pass right or left. Right? Either way, he's fine. Bobby Orr, he's a defenseman. He can go either side.
Right.
Kucherov can only pass it one way. He can't pass it to his right because he's sitting on the boards. The fact that people know it's coming and still can't stop it is phenomenal. And the 100th one was vintage Kucherov. They're on the power play. They come to him. He fakes the shot, gets the defense to move, and hits point right in the middle with a perfect pass. Yeah. And you know what, guys? I said this in my post today. The most important thing tonight for the Lightning was not winning. It was getting Kucherov that 100-point, because if they had to go into the playoffs with him stuck at 99, he'd have been frustrated. The team would have been frustrated. It would have been a huge problem. In fact, I thought they'd have probably got swept 4 straight by Florida, because they'd have been like Pigpen going in with a cloud over their head. Now they're going in with some motivation and some momentum and a plethora, or should I say plethora?
Oh, as Ray would say, yeah. Oh, God.
A plethora of confidence.
Yep, absolutely.
I would just like a whole bunch. That would be a whole bunch of confidence.
Whole bunch of confidence. Okay. Well, you always talk about the momentum with this.
Mo, baby.
Yeah, the Mo. I mean, what do you think about this Tampa Bay Lightning team? Veteran Layden, of course, one of the best goaltenders when he's healthy. It certainly seems like he's finally healthy. Do they have an opportunity here to really cause some havoc by upsetting Florida, by making it to the Eastern Conference because of all that veteran leadership that they have on this team?
I'm glad you asked that, Pete. Seriously, if they're going to be going up against Florida, let me be really clear when I say this. I don't think they should be the underdogs.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. I think Florida's got more to lose in this series than Tampa does. If everybody remembers correctly, Tampa's been up and down, peaks and valleys, peak and valleys.
Yeah.
This is the year that I'm going to be very intrigued to see exactly how the Lightning are going to play, primarily because they haven't been that same Lightning team in the years past.
Right.
And Leo probably even attests to that. But it's always about the momentum. Who's going to get hot? Leo, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. You're there literally every game.
Well, you know what, Harry, you bring up a great point. And I didn't want to see him play Boston. And here's why. Because let's go back when the Lightning won 62 games.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Set the record. What happened? They got swept by Columbus, first round.
Right.
What happened the following 2 years? Stanley Cup here. Boston takes that to another level, sets the record for wins in season, and they get out in the first round. So Boston is playing with they are just on fire in terms of, okay, we're going to show people what we have. And I am so glad, because I think the Lightning match up better with Florida. Plus, you don't have Vasilevsky playing 60 games.
Mm.
You got him playing 50. And he's won 30 of them. So he's got 10 games less that he's played. So he's rested, and he's just starting to get healthy. So, yeah, this is a big thing right now for the Lightning to get in. And, God, they are on a streak right now where if you get a power play, they're the number 1 power play unit in the entire NHL right now.
Really?
This March.
Yeah, absolutely. Very talented team, very skilled. We're on with Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire of this show, the Sports Web, and of course, Leo Haggerty. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. Let's go out to the comments. Mr. Roger Shoe right here.
Acknowledge me.
Tribal Troll. Let's go out to Christopher Cole second.
Oh, yeah.
Christopher, again, congratulations to Cooch on his 100th assist. With the whole third period to go. Absolutely. Gotta love that right there. Lightning horn. Yes. Russ Lawson, bring your passion. Absolutely. Tampa Bay Lightning look amazing today. Cooch MVP. Eric again, MVP Cooch. I mean, to me, he's the MVP of the league, right? Eric knows this. Every Lightning fan knows this. Does the league know this?
Oh, he's the MVP.
Wow.
There's no way around it. He's got 100 assists. I think he's got 44 goals.
He does, yes.
Yeah. So
44 tonight, yes.
What else you want the guy to do?
I have no idea. I don't know what you want him to do, especially with all the injuries, especially losing.
Tampa just doesn't get the love. That's the problem.
Well, you're exactly right about that, Harry. Go ahead and kind of expound on that a little bit.
They just don't get the love. I mean, let's look at the Buccaneers. Let's look at the Rays. Let's look at anything that ever comes through Tampa Bay. Nobody ever shows love. But you want to know when they show love? When Tom Brady came to town. because everybody wanted to turn around and polish. Never mind, I was going to say something bad, but I mean, I'm sure you're getting
Please
don't. They went to polish his car. Okay, but that's exactly what it was. I mean, they just don't get the love that they deserve, especially in the Tampa sports teams, and that's because of the general media, not local media. I'm talking about the pundits like ESPN, that bad 4-letter word that everybody corrects me on. Listen to NFL Network. You're listening to any network that's out there. I don't see anybody giving Tampa Bay teams any love. Maybe it's just me being prejudiced, or I'm not prejudiced, but looking for the excuses, to try to blast the media. But it's true. It's just like the fake news, like CNN. Seriously.
You know what, Harry? It's almost like they don't want to. They're like incredulous. There's my SAT word of the day.
You tonight.
Incredulous. Oh my God.
It's like they're incredulous that why do we need to talk about this? We shouldn't even be talking about hockey in Florida.
Right.
More or less, a team winning the Stanley Cup. Yeah, it's crazy. It's just, it's same thing with baseball. The Rays. Florida's for spring training. It's not for having regular season. Well, guess what? There's a pretty good baseball team down here.
No.
Pretty good football team. Real good hockey team. So, yeah, it's and again, when you look at it, it's all New York and LA driven with ESPN.
Right.
It's crazy that you got to sit there and look at this.
I got to add I got to add something to it for people that follow my picks. I picked just over 70% this year in the NFL. Yes, I'm reaching over and pat myself on the back because that's 4 years in a row. You have all these so-called experts that come on and they get on the NFL Today, or they go on Fox or CBS or whatever, and the people that are picking out games, even DraftKings, my boys over at FanDuel. Nobody picks games like they do on this platform. Nobody. But nobody's ever going to give that kind of love because of the name and because of the status. So I guess if Troy Aikman makes a comment about a football game, it must be Bible. Is it? Is it? That's the point I'm trying to make. You wanted me to, expound a little bit on what I think, why they don't get the love. It's because it's the market. It's just as simple as that. But you know what? When they come here to Tampa, they generally get their ass kicked and they send them home packing. That's what I see happening against this Florida team.
I like it. I like the prediction out there. Let's go out to Russ. The safety, Tyke Smith, seriously a consideration as a first pick. I mean, let's go into the Bucs here. Tyke Smith. I've never heard of him before. Yep. I haven't heard of him. I don't think safety is, Russ, and I'll tell you why. Because the pickup of Jordan Whitehead, you're going to re-sign Antoine Winfield Jr. I mean, let's start there. Great
signing with Jordan Whitehead again.
And not being talked about enough, and I don't know why, because it's under the radar, and that's okay. But Whitehead knows this system. He can hit you. He can cover. He can make plays. Todd Bowles can be more creative. He's definitely going to be better than Ryan Neal. So if you're the Bucs at 26 or second, third round, is safety a consideration, or do you go with another need, Leo?
I'll tell you what, guys. Here's what I think is going to transpire. You're going to see 6 quarterbacks go in the top 15 picks. You're going to see 4 wide receivers go in the top 15 picks. So you're going to have 10 of the 15 top picks, quarterback, wide receiver.
Fall right into your lap.
Oh, God. Exactly. And the thing that Light is going to have to decide on is if he gets there and he's going to pick at 26, let's say he's still got 10 guys on his draft board that are above 26. He can trade out of that first round, early second round, and still get a quality player. I think you're going to see come when they get right past the Raiders, because you got 3 teams in a row right there that are looking for quarterbacks. You got Denver, you got Minnesota, you got the Raiders, all right in a row there. I think they're at 12, 13, 14, right there. When you hit 15, you may see just a tidal wave of trades, because there's going to be a lot of people on people's boards, because, like, The Jets don't need a quarterback.
No.
You know, the
You
Titans,
sure about that?
No, they don't need a quarterback.
It's a joke. Are you
the
sure?
Bucs-
You think
yeah,
maybe he can get 5 plays into the season?
Well, here's the problem, Harry. Say you got one of those quarterbacks as number 3, and you're the Jets picking,
Yeah.
and he's still up there. Do you take him? Same thing with the Bucs. Say Penix falls down. I mean,
It's going to be hard not to take him. Bring us all together. Leo, that's going to be hard not to take Michael Penix. I mean, for those of you that actually handicap these games and watch them, did anybody see that throw against Texas?
Oh, God, yes.
That was a masterpiece. What a quarterback. But he has, and you know what? I'm predicting right now Peter's going to disagree with me. He's going to fall into the later part of the first round primarily because of the 2 issues, the injury and the age. That's the only reason why. He could potentially be the steal of the draft as a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, he could be. So how do you not take him? How do you not pick up this guy?
Listen, guys, I think he goes in that area to the Raiders, especially Penix, and I think Leo is correct. If Penix does fall down in that 15-16 range, then if you're a team out there and you're quarterback hungry and you don't need a quarterback, you're going to take that call and try to get multiple picks. But I don't think he gets out of the first round. I think it's a pipe dream if he's there.
No. I still think he gets picked in the first round, Peter. Let me clarify myself. If he gets past 15-16, he's fallen in our lap. He really is. I don't want to see the Buccaneers pick up a quarterback before they solidify that offensive line. This team is built to win right now. You've got great wide receivers. You do have a running game. The tight ends are improving. Let's fix this offensive line. Let's draft a center or the best guard that they have left in the draft, because you know what? They're going to fall down to them at that position. It wouldn't break my heart to see the Buccaneers pick up an interior defensive lineman or even an edge rusher, but they really need to do something with that O-line. If they do and they end up getting a stud on this O-line, you are talking potentially, again, a division winner. Because trust me when I tell you, the answer is not sitting north 350, 400 miles up in Atlanta. It's not, because Kirk Cousins, coming off that injury and his age, they're not going to automatically become 5 wins better than they were last year. It's just not going to happen.
No, it's not. But I believe Pro Football Network believes that the NFC South has one of the easiest schedules. In fact, they have the Bucs as the 7th easiest schedule. Now, going out to Jason Light, this is what he had to say in care of Pro Football Talk. In the past, our trade ups and downs, we started that process typically around now. We are 2 right now. You don't want to make decisions, at least I don't, on draft day. Emotional decisions that could come back and bite you. You want to be as clear-minded as you can be when you're putting this together. I say around 20, we'll know if we want to start attempting to move up or not. I would say right now, I like the thought of the way I really have a lot, depending on my staff, both the coaching staff, the scouting staff, and how we have been operating. These picks seem pretty important to me right now. With that being said, that last part, do we assume that they sit there at 26 unless, say, a Jared Verse, and say maybe there's a quarterback there that falls into their lap? Do we say they sit there at 26, or could they possibly trade down with just that comment right there?
Oh, why?
Because you have needs. And listen, they're
not that many, Peter. They have enough picks in this draft. Here, look, I really hate interrupting, and please forgive me because I have just so much I want to share, especially after the week I've had. If anybody knows what's going on, you'd understand. Leo, I have a question for you regarding this. There's 3 big wide receivers in this draft. A kid from Ohio State, Marvin Harrison, the kid out of LSU. My brain's not working. Malik Neighbors, and the one named Ozuna. Let me ask you an honest question. We have seen this year in, year out, year in, year out. Do you honestly think that all 3 of these guys are can't-miss prospects? Honestly. Do you honestly think that all 4 quarterbacks, the top 4, are can't-miss? Do you honestly, that's 9 of the, do you believe that both offensive linemen and the defensive linemen, or both of them, now we're talking 12 picks, do you think they're all immediate impact players? Just please answer that question.
No.
Neither do I.
Not.
And
Absolutely
that's why some of the best draft is happening from round 1 from 20 to 30. There's not as much pressure. Particular players that, I don't know, could he be? And they end up being incredible football players.
That's my point.
And you know what, guys?
That's why I'm saying don't draft back, because they're going to have something that they could really grab at that position. Let me
Or
tell you something, it's phenomenal.
let's say there's a quarterback on the board, or there's somebody that's slipping that the Bucs don't need at the end of the day, and they get a call and they get their socks knocked off with a first round pick next year, or second round pick, or another third round pick, and they say, you know what? Like Leo said, you got to trust your board. And if you're bored at that point at 26, and you still feel like you can get that same exact player a little bit more down, I think that's where Jason Light may make that trade. What do you say, Leo? Because he's done it in the past. And, you know, from these comments, and again, I understand where people are coming from, but you just have to kind of, you know, read between the lines here.
So you wouldn't mind him trading from that pick and out of the first round?
If there is not a guy, like say there's a Jared Verse at 20, like he said, then you got to go up and get him.
How does he stay there at 20? How does he make it to 20?
Because of a run of quarterbacks.
He's better than the lineman from Alabama. How's that going to happen?
I agree, but there's always that distinct possibility that they start falling down, and you have no idea. Like there was one year, the kid defensive end for the Florida State Seminoles, Johnson, he was supposed to go top 10. He didn't go top 10. He was supposed to go top 15. He didn't go top 15. So we don't know. You don't know what the interviews are like. You don't know what teams need, how they view. They may view a Malik Neighbors over a Marvin Harrison Jr. at this point. Over that, that's just the beauty in the eye of the beholder, right, Leo?
You know what, guys? Here's the problem. And Harry, you've hit the nail on the head. A lot of the good picks are 20 through 32 because you look at your board and you go, wait a second, we still got 6, 7 guys on the board and we're picking 26, 27. So either our scouting staff have done a bad job, or some people are drafting need opposed to ability. And I would really love to ask Jason Light this question.
Right.
Do you have 2 draft boards? Do you have one that is basically the best players, top to bottom? And do you have one that's a need? Like, I guarantee you, there's not a quarterback on their draft board. Not one. Because they don't need one. They probably don't have a wide receiver either. So all of a sudden, they got a draft board that's just jam-packed with offensive linemen, edge rushers. You got all sorts of people there.
Great point.
That are going to fall down to you. And Harry, real quick, the pass that Penix made in the Texas game, and I know which one you're talking about, the one where the 2 safeties are squeezing cover 2 right on the goalpost, and he hits McNamara between the 1 and the 1.
Yep. There's only one quarterback in this draft that could have made that pass like him.
And you know what?
You want to know who it was? That was Caleb Williams out of USC. And I don't even know if he could make that pass like he did.
And you know what, Harry? There were NFL quarterbacks that wouldn't even consider throwing that.
Not even close. That was, you know what that reminded me of? Do I dare to say it?
Go ahead.
Jeff George, because he would throw it through a window this big.
Oh God! Yeah.
And he'd think he'd fit a football this big through a window this big, 50 yards downfield. That was one of the most incredible passes that I have seen in college. Pressure. I mean, it was sick the way he did, and it wasn't even out of desperation. He thought he could. He threw that ball with confidence.
Yeah.
Well, I hate to
and
get
it was
off
before McNamara even made his move.
Yep.
Yeah.
Before. And it doesn't get more than 6 feet off the ground.
I know. It
is a missile.
It was sick. It was absolutely sick.
Yeah.
And you know what? If I'm seeing it, you're seeing it. I'm sure the scouts are seeing it. But his downfall is going to be his age and that injury. He's had a couple of pretty bad injuries. But Leo, I can't see the Buccaneers drafting and trading out of the first round. They've got to take the best player available. There's too many people that are hard on this team saying all the needs. Oh, let me tell you something. Even your best team in football has a need. Okay? Let's just be very clear. this team does not have as many needs as people think. You fix this offensive line, Peter, that lack of pass rush is going to be a thing of naught.
Well,
you're not even going to remember. It's not going to be as bad as you think because they'll be able to score with anybody.
I still think you stay there at 26 and you take the best pass rusher out there. But let's just say you feel
so when do you address that offensive line?
In the second or third round, like Jason Light always does.
That's perfect then. That's perfect then. As long as they address that, they make it a priority.
Well, that's
I'm
why
serious. First 3 rounds.
I think that's what they do. That's what Jason Light does. I think you go with an edge rusher because the talent of edge rusher kind of drops off after the first round. I mean,
what happens if both of them are gone, Peter? The kid from Alabama and the kid from FSU. What if those two are gone? Because you're not kidding. When I tell you it drops off, it really drops off. Why can't they address an edge rusher from some cuts from teams that aren't going to make it, bud?
I'm gonna answer your question right now. Let's go out to the mock drafts here. Various mock drafts. Connor Rogers of NBC Sports says Latu, UCLA edge rusher, top 20 player, but of course he has some injury concerns with his neck. The guy says he could be an instant impact player. The guy can play, definitely can rush against the passer, not sure against the run. You go with Eric Frunton of NBC Sports. He says edge, Braylon Trice of Washington.
Decent.
6'4", 274. The propensity, if you will. Leo Word of Jason Light going with Washington players. That would make sense. You got Kyle Dvorak of NBC Sports, Jackson Powers Johnson of Oregon. Now, this is the thing. I know
I wouldn't take him that high, Peter.
And that's the thing. He may not even be there because you have the Steelers. You have the Seahawks picking at 16. You have the Steelers in that situation. You have the Cowboys. And, oh, by the way, you have the Philadelphia Eagles, I believe, picking at 20 or 21. If he's on the board at 2021, run to the podium because Jason Kelce just retired and you get his replacement right there. I know there's a lot of Bucs fans that want to do that. And I think you can get a center in the second or the third round. You can get a guard in the second or the third round. And once again, Jason Light has shown that throughout his past. Let me move on. Adam Rank of NFL.com. Edge, Chop Robinson, Penn State. He ranks him over. Very raw player, though. Not a lot of production there. 2.5 sacks last year. Keith Sanchez of the draft.
A lot of speed, though, Pete.
Xavier Worthy, wide receiver, Texas, full speed. See, I don't see this happening because you have Trey Palmer, and you can get one once again in the second, third, fourth round unless you're ready to move on from a Chris Godwin who's coming into its free agency year.
He's not going anywhere.
Well, I'm just putting.
You know what, guys? Harry, I'm going to agree with you on this.
Mm-hmm.
If the Bucs get to 26, they make the pick. I agree. What I don't see them doing is moving up for anybody. Because there's just going to be so much talent on that board because the first 3 picks are going to be quarterbacks. We just don't know what order it's going to be in.
What if Jared Verse is on the board there at Florida State at 19 or 20? To me, he's the most complete. For me, I got to trade up. I'm trying to trade up.
No, why?
I can't.
Well, because he will solidify. He'll give you the edge rusher that you need. He's highly productive college football player who's played at a high level. And regarding like Chop Robinson, Latu, he's got no question marks. To me, he's one of the most single-handedly great prospects. Perfect prospects in this draft.
I can't see him even drop into that spot.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
And you know what, Peter? If you got to go up, it's going to cost you a 1 and a 2.
Yeah,
cost you a third round pick.
No, Peter,
you're
not moving up there for a third round pick. It's not happening.
It'll be this year's second. It'll be this year's second, next year's number 1, or this year's second and 2 number 2s. It's going to be one of the two.
Either way, aren't you willing to give that up? Because at the end of the day, you pair him up with Yaya Diaby. I think that solidifies your defense. If he happens to fall, I'm willing to do that because I think he's a perfect prospect. And I'm not just saying that because I watched him at Florida State. Stats don't lie. He's got a constant motor. The other guys, they have concerns. Latu's got a neck injury concern. Chop Robinson doesn't have the production. Verse has the production. He's played at the highest level. He's one of the great defensive players in this draft. And if he happens to fall, I'm just saying that would be who I would trade up for.
And you know what, Peter? Here's the comeback when you say he's a great player. He's a great player in a second-rate league. I don't agree with that, but that's what they're saying about Robinson. He plays in the Big Ten. Whole lot better than the ACC. I disagree with that, but that's what people are going to say. Because, okay, you played Wake Forest. You played Pittsburgh. You played Boston College. Okay, that doesn't scare anybody. But again, you're giving up too much. I'm going to go back to when the Bucs got Gruden. Okay, if you're going to move up, you better win this year. Because remember, when they got Gruden, yeah, they won the Super Bowl. I said, hey, great. But they gave up number ones and number twos. Man, you can't be doing that every year. It's
here's the thing, guys. You're winning right now because Baker Mayfield is on a 2-year contract. You got Mike Evans, who's getting up there in age. Chris Godwin is on his free agency year. So realistically, the window is somewhat kind of closing. And you were close last year. You're one game away from the NFC Championship game. So everybody's saying, they're rebuilding. No, they're not rebuilding. Todd Bowles still has to keep his job.
Who said the Bucs are rebuilding? Oh, all the pundits across the country last year?
That's what I'm saying, though. And
the ones that said they win 4 ball games?
Yeah. Harry, did we chop that one down?
I'll tell you what, guys. Let's go out to the phone lines here. Let's lead it off here with Curtis. Curtis, welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with the legend himself, Aew Action. And of course,
Peter, before you put him on, I got to get out.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Let me get you out of here then, Leo, on that. Go ahead and promote yourself, my friend.
Yeah, go to Amped Up Sports. I talked about how important it was for Kucherov to get that 100th assist to have the team go in on a positive note. And I'll tell you what, it's going to be a fun time because they're going to start with Florida on Sunday at 12:30. That's what they're saying. So, guys, it's been a pleasure, and I will talk to you next week.
All right.
Leo, have a good one, Leo.
There you go. Leo Haggerty's out there, so we'll come back here to the phone line. Thanks a lot for your time. As always, legend Curtis, your thoughts here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Welcome here on this happy hump day.
Well, Pete, me and you usually – well, anyway, first of all, how the hell are you guys?
I'm doing good, man. Like I said, you guys get me through it. I was telling the story of coming in on my monologue. First time I gotten sent home in the last 5 years when it comes to sales. It's not necessarily the job I want, but because of this show, because of fans like you, because of Harry and Leo and Ray and all the great people that are part of this show, Jason Powers and TJ Reeves and Rock Raleigh, all these great guests, you guys keep me going because that's where my positivity is. So when I got sent home, I was like, all right, I'm going to go home. I'm going to kill it. And I'm just going to think the draft is what?
I think you called me too.
I did call you. And I said, I cannot believe this. And I wanted to curse and yell. And you know what? I just
want to tell them what I said?
I know what you said. You said,
suck it up, Buttercup.
That's it. Exactly. With that being said, Jared Verse, I put it out there. I would not be surprised. I don't know why.
He's going top 10.
If he does go top 10, cool.
He's supposed to go before the kid from Alabama. People are going to say, blasphemy.
I've seen he's that good. Various mocks out there that have this man slipping down, this kid slipping down, I should say. So if he does slip down to, say, number 20 or number 19, if you're Jason Light, Curtis, are you trading up for him?
Honestly, I don't know how I feel right now.
And to me, this is not a hard answer because I'm going to tell you
answer.
Right now. Well, no, I'm going to let him answer, but I'm just going to convince everybody, turn on the tape. The guy's got a nonstop motor. He gets after it.
That's why he doesn't make it out of the top 10.
Right. But if he does, it's happened before because of a run on quarterbacks.
Not that far down, bud. Not that far down.
Throwing it
out there. Here's the thing. I'm going to say this.
Yeah.
And y'all stop me if you don't believe this.
Okay.
I think he's going to be gone.
Okay.
The reason being is because, number one, we're going to have a run on quarterbacks. We're going to have a run on wide receivers. After those go, what's next?
Well, yeah, I think
linemen and defensive linemen.
Correct.
That's what's going to go next.
Agree.
And I feel like he's going to be gone. Now, I agree with you. He'd be a nice pick.
I mean,
I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you this though.
Yeah.
I feel like the Bucs really need to do something with that interior offensive line because I was watching a couple games the other day.
Yeah.
And
I said the same thing.
You did.
When Baker had nobody to throw the ball, there was times where he had nobody to throw.
Like no time. There was like a 4-game stretch. He had no time.
Yeah, the entire interior offensive line broke down as soon as he hiked the goddamn ball. Like
the ball wasn't even hiked, and they already got through him.
Yeah.
But Peter's right, man. I mean, he's right. You know, when I'm going to tell you this, I mean, if Jared Verse was to fall that far down, yeah, would you go get him? I wouldn't personally do that, but if he fell in his, look, you can address this. How many draft picks do they have in the first 4 rounds, Peter?
This looking right now because I'm just reading off of this list. They got pick 26, round 2, pick 57th overall, 3rd round pick 89th overall, 92 in the 3rd round from Detroit. So they have that extra 3rd round pick. That's where I'm thinking.
One more. How about in the 4th?
125.
They got 5 picks.
They got 6 and 7. Yeah.
Here's my thing.
Yeah.
Here's my thing.
Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They got 7 picks here at this point.
They can address the offensive line with a couple of picks. If there's a stud defensive lineman in there and they fall down to him, yeah, if they can, Jason Light, man, let me tell you something. And please, Buck fans, I don't want to hear this bull crap. If he could fleece some of these other general managers like he does his players to get them to sign the way he does, and he doesn't have to give up all his draft capital, yes, then you move up. Okay. But I mean, if it's causing me another number 1 pick and a number 2 just to move up 5 or 6 spots, no, you cannot do that.
Yeah, I don't think that happens.
If they give them 2 or 3 additional picks and they're only moving back a little, let me tell you something.
Are you not satisfied with the young talent that we have on this defense right now?
No,
no, they need one more edge rusher. I'd like to answer that. They need one more edge rusher, honestly.
Okay.
The offensive line needs to be addressed. If there's a really good edge rusher and a really, really good offensive lineman available at that pick, I think he's in a dilemma, Pete. I swear to God, I think he's in a dilemma. I can assure you one thing. He's not drafting a safety and he's not drafting a corner. He's definitely not drafting a wide receiver and a running back. It's going to be one of the 2 picks.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm going to go back to this mock draft here really quick, Curtis, while you're on the phone. Because predominantly, Xavier Worthy, that was the Draft Network, Brad Spielberg of Pro Football Focus, Nate Wiggins, corner of Clemson, Luke Easterling, who will try to get on this show here eventually, as Sports Illustrated says a trade with the Chiefs, and they pick Graham Barton, who played tackle at Duke, but is, he could play guard, very versatile, could also play center, more center than anything else. USA Today edge Chop Robinson, pair him up with Yaya Diaby. Sam Farmer of the Los Angeles Times, wide receiver Keon Coleman from Florida State, because Evans is getting older, Godwin coming into his free agency year. Greg Allman of Fox Sports, Jackson Powers Johnson of Oregon, Ryan Wilson of CBS, Graham Barton. There you go again. Chris Trapacio, CBS Sports. Latu from UCLA, Josh Edwards of CBS Sports, Chop Robinson, Kyle Stackpole, Chop Robinson, Tom Finelli, CBS Sports, Cooper DeJean, cornerback Iowa, and Pete Prisco says Graham Barton of Duke. So if you look at that, predominantly it's 2 positions, guys. It's interior line, and it's edge.
And I love the interior line. I love the interior line because of one thing.
Yep.
Rashard White looked really good last year.
Right.
The problem is we did not.
One of the few people that actually believe that. We believe it.
Sure.
But there's a lot of people out there that thinks that guy did not live anywhere. I mean, if you took a poll right now, half of the Bucs fans would say they need a running back.
Did they not watch the game where this kid was getting no push up the middle?
None.
I know.
None.
I know.
I mean, no on your left side at all.
If you gave that kid some push up the middle with the moves that he has, come on, are you serious?
Yep. Absolutely.
I'm not kidding you, man. I am. Listen, you should hear some of the people the way they talk about Rashard White. They just don't like him for some reason.
No.
And that's even more of a reason, Peter and Curtis and everybody out there that's listening. That is another reason why you want to draft offensive line, at least 2 of them in the first 3 or 4
I don't
rounds.
think you go wrong. Honestly, I don't think you go wrong with any position. I'm not against going with Jackson Powers Johnson. I'm not against going with Graham Barton or going with the guard or center at that point. I'm just saying, if there is not one of those players on the board, or even if there is a player on the board, I still think they go edge, just because of what Jason Light has done in the past. He likes that challenge of going out there and getting a second. And remember, you got 2 third-round picks.
I love that. I love that. But I'm going to tell you this, Pete, and you know this.
Yep.
How did this team win the Super Bowl?
They win the Super Bowl with having a great offensive line and protecting Tom
Brady. And we could consistently run the damn ball.
To a certain degree, yes, absolutely.
Whoa. Time out, Curtis. We didn't watch the same football game.
No.
We got a lot of tape to talk about. Do you mean the lack of running the football?
Give me a minute. We only consistently ran it in the playoffs.
Yeah, there you go. They took it. You know how they won that Super Bowl? You better start. Listen, Tom Brady had a lot to do with it. But I'm going to tell you right now, they won that Super Bowl because of that defense.
Of course.
They did, because of that defense, and because they were balanced in the playoffs with Lenny, going off. But you're exactly right, because of the defense, and that goes back to the edge rusher, which you have not addressed with Shaq Barrett being gone. Randy Gregory, I like him, and he's got lots of potential. But look, 4 teams in 4 years. Who else do you got? JTS, you see what you got with him. Anthony Nelson, you see what you got with him. Those are rotational guys. Go out, and that's why I say, hopefully, if there's
someone's going to get cut, they're going to grab somebody. Trust me when I tell you.
I hope
there's going to be a plethora.
I agree with both of you, because you got to remember, after the draft, we always get a string of cuts.
Correct.
Always.
You're correct. You're absolutely correct.
And you never know who's going to be on the chopping block after the draft.
That's true.
Yep. Absolutely, Curtis. William Golston.
There's a lot of really good talent that's gonna get cut.
Well, the Bucs just re-signed William Golston, 19 tackles, his first interception of his career. A lot of people would say, it's a good depth signing. I agree with you, but does that say something about Logan Hall? Is that a position, once again, that you need to address? Because
you can address that in the 3rd round.
Yeah, you can, because you got 2 third-round picks. And then again,
that's another thing, Peter. Don't be surprised the Buccaneers, you talk about moving up. I don't see them moving up in the 1st round for the reasons that Leo was talking about. Because it does give the potential of giving up too much draft capital. Moving up in the 2nd round, however, doesn't cost as much. You can trade 2nd round picks and give them their extra 3rd this year.
I mean, don't forget. What was it? 2 years ago, we traded back and got Logan Hall in the 2nd round, top of the.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They predominantly have done that, and they picked up extra picks, and then they go and address those needs. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do that, especially if guys they feel like the level of talent at 26 is the same in that 2nd round, and they pick up an extra pick. That's all right. But if there's somebody on the board like a Chop Robinson. And for me, the red flag is with this kid. Yep. Yeah, he's an athletic freak, but that doesn't always transition over to the NFL game. And I look at the level of production. Why isn't his level of production higher? Are you getting the same player as you get in a Joe Tryon-Shoyinka? And that's why I say, in a perfect world, if Jared Verse is on the board.
Are you supporting Joe Tryon-Shoyinka here?
I think
I'm not. It's time for him to go.
Well, that would be my whole reason why you go with the edge.
I mean,
he was so far behind.
He's already under contract, so I say let him play out his contract.
Well, you let him play out his contract, but is he a guy that's going to start in this league?
This is his prove-it year. Okay, I'm going to see what's going to happen. This is going to be his prove-it year. Right. Everything I've watched on tape, he's got to bulk up, Peter and Curtis, because I'll tell you what, he completely gets blown off the line of scrimmage, consistently out of position, because offensive linemen they're getting their hands on him and just kind of manhandling him. However, when he doesn't have his hand in the dirt, he can make an impact. But he better play. He better play better this year.
Well, Rays lose. I'm
going to tell you something.
Rays lose, by the way, 5-4. So give me an update on that. Not good news.
I think it's going to be a very I think it's going to be a very interesting draft next week.
Oh
Well,
my
yes.
God, they're going to be interesting.
Well, there's Thursday night.
I think.
and we'll see if we're on.
No. I think Thursday and Friday we're going to see a lot of fireworks,
All right.
and it's going to be crazy.
It is. Curtis, thanks a lot for the call. Let me run here. Let me go out to Alex. I know what you want to talk about, but you can definitely chime in on these on this Buccaneer conversation. Be nice to Harry. Welcome to the Evolution.
I love Harry. You know that. He knows that.
All right. So, well, there you go. Roger, call back. Actually, Roger, call in. Alex, I'm going to put you on hold really quick. Actually, I'm going to go out to Roger, put him on hold, and then come back out to you. Roger, call back if you want to. All right. We'll go with the call here. Alex, go ahead. Welcome to the Sports Web.
Well, as we were...
Stand by. All right. Go ahead, Alex. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All good. As we were talking about on the JP Pearson show this morning, just a little bit, Pete Fairbanks blows another one. Unfortunately, Rosario came up on the top of the bottom of the 8th, got that go-ahead home run. How hot has he been? But once again, we're looking at Pete Fairbanks' third blown save this season. It's so unfortunate, man, because this team has fought back. The Angels starter, I can't ever pronounce his name, pitched pretty much for the most part lights out, looked really good, kept the Rays, I think, to 2 runs up to the 5th inning. And then, of course, the Rays do what the Rays do, battle it out with 2 outs left and come back and tie it in the top of the bottom of the 8th. And Pete Fairbanks blows it again, man.
Well, and I don't know what's wrong with Pete, but that's not a good thing. And he's been wild, and the Rays have been able to get away with it, giving up 1 run or 2 runs here, walking, but eventually that's going to come back to haunt you. And you kind of wonder, what's his standing as the closer? What's the confidence level? You can't afford to have that. And I continue to go back on this and harp on it. In those high leverage situations, your bullpen has to be nails, especially with the kind of baseball they're playing right now. You can't afford to walk players because you give them second chances, especially a good lineup. Even the Angels showed you tonight that it would come back to haunt you. And sure enough, Fairbanks once again being the culprit.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate, but overall, man, I gotta tell you, man, I feel really bad for our starters, man, because once again, Littell came out today, pitched fantastic, looked very, very good, pitched 5 innings and handed it over to the bullpen, and once again, actually the bullpen kept it pretty close, and then, man, so unfortunate, Fairbanks, man, just needed 3 outs, he got one quick out, it was a ground out, to Yandy Diaz, got the quick out. And then they had a 1-out rally and they blow it again. It's so unfortunate.
It's shame.
Well, the odds makers had that game that the Angels, believe it or not, were -120. They were a small favorite in this game on the road.
How about that?
There were some matchups in there, and plus this particular umpire, I keep forgetting his name, who was calling the game, does not call a really good strike zone. He doesn't give the outside pitch at all. There's so many different factors, on why. What's happening. But then again, hey, Tampa's still a game over 500, right?
Yeah, well, it's a long season. Alex, we were talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, where do you think they should go at 26? Is it an interior offensive lineman? Do you trade down? Do you trade up? I've said tonight, if Jared Verse is there, if he happens to get out of that top 15 and he goes in that 20 area, if you're Jason Light and the Bucs, do you make that call to trade up, even though you may have to give up some draft capital? And even though you hear from Jason Light with these comments recently that those picks are very important. And I think Alex is gone. So I don't know what happened there. I guess he's gone. So we'll go out to the tribal troll.
Acknowledge me.
Let's go out to Roger here. Roger, welcome to the Evolution. Roger, are you there?
Peter, what up?
What's going on, buddy? You tell me.
Great show so far. Before we get into the draft,
yes,
the Bucs, the Bears, anything else, I have a question for Harry the Greek.
Go for it.
Harry?
What's up, brother?
All right. First thing, did you get Mr. Williams his wings yet?
No wings for Mr. Williams yet.
Oh, my God.
I haven't seen Mr. Williams yet, to be honest with you.
Mr. Williams.
I'll trade him 2 slices of deep dish with sausage. Get it? Sausage?
Sausage?
I'll take that.
Okay. and a couple of hot dogs with everything hold the sport, and definitely no ketchup.
Yeah, all kinds of
I'll
ketchup.
take that 100%.
You're such an idiot. I swear to God, you're such an idiot with this hot dog thing.
It's a good play, Pete.
Oh yeah, absolutely, great play. With that being said, we're gonna try to do a fan draft like we did last year. We got Kevin who won, who actually picked for the Carolina Panthers. Should I assume here, Roger Shue, the tribal troll, that you're gonna pick for the Chicago Bears there at
Yes,
1
I
and
will.
9? All right. Well, you got to give. We're gonna do $10 entry fee. You got to pay that entry fee, and you get a chance to pick 1 and 9. So how about that?
So is it $10 per pick, or is it $10 in general?
$10 in general. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm in.
All right, there you go. So we got Roger, the tribal troll, that will be leading off the fan draft next Wednesday night. I believe we'll start probably about 8 o'clock. What do you think, Harry?
I'll even give my picks now.
Well, don't give your picks. No, I don't want you to.
No, buddy, we want your money first.
We want your money first, and then we want the intrigue and the suspense, okay? Stop tipping picks. We don't want you to tip the picks. We want you to wait on Wednesday night. Yeah,
because Peter doesn't know anything about Chicago sports. So Harry,
oh, that's BS. That's completely.
I've taught him very well with Chicago sports.
You need to do that.
Okay. Shut up. Now, obviously, we know Caleb Williams is going number one.
That?
Hang on, let someone intelligent now on. What's up?
Do you think Marvin Harrison falls to number 9 and the Bears grab him at 9, or they trade up to get him?
That's a great avenue.
No, and I don't think he's going to get down to 9. I think he's and the Bears have zero chance of trading up. I would literally be. You only have 4 picks.
Right.
What are they going to do next year? They've got a plethora of picks next year, but that doesn't do them any good. Look, man, if they do anything, they're going to move. They're either going to sit there. If one of the elite wide receivers fall to them, I'll still be shocked if they take one of them.
All right. Well, and there's certainly a possibility for the Bears to trade up. Do you think the Bears would trade down? You mean these wide? See, I think they stay put, or you trade down.
They're going to trade down, or they're going to stay put. I can't see them trading up. Peter, they have. Listen, they have 4 picks in this year's draft. 4, and 2 of them are in the first round. They can't trade up. What are they going to do? They have to. Yeah, if Jared Verse is there, you pick him up. If there's an interior offensive lineman or a left tackle, you take one. You take the best player available.
Agree.
I'm telling you now, I predict this. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
I predict the Bears are trading not out of the first round, but they're going to trade back a couple of spots because one of the quarterbacks are going to be there. They are going to grab a quarterback or the best wide receiver available. The Chicago Bears pick up picks this year and for next year, and they still get a player like a Jared Verse or the best offensive lineman that's out there.
Yeah,
that's what I predict.
And I think you go offensive line at that point. If you could trade down and get value there, protect your quarterback, I think that's the pick. Or you go with Verse because that's what you need. You either need a left tackle to
hang on. You put the Chicago's left tackle last year has played very well, but I mean, trust me, if you get a premier left tackle in the draft, you go ahead and grab him. But can you imagine a Jared Verse with Montez Sweat on one side and one side?
Scary.
That would be disgusting scary.
I'm telling you, Verse is probably the best defensive player in this draft. Period.
No, he is.
Hey, real quick, your thoughts on Joe Alt at number 9?
If he's available, it's going to be hard to trade out of that pick unless they're only moving back 2 spots. And they know that the other teams are not going to be picking him up. They would do that. That would be foolish. If Joe Alt is there and nobody's ringing their phone, or if they do and they have to move too far back, they do take Alt.
Yeah, you take Alt at that point. You run to the podium because there's your left tackle at that point.
Run. Yeah. Bro, I'm shooting a shotgun. Hold up.
Yeah.
Hang on. I'm not late for this one.
All right. So Roger Shue, the tribal troll right there. Even though you're not on Facebook, I will have an announcement tomorrow. Yes.
And by the way, at the start of your little monologue, Peter.
Yes.
You said that you got sent home, you went back on the phones, and you kicked everyone's ass in the company except one, the tribal troll.
Acknowledge me.
I will acknowledge you on that. Yes, you did beat me a couple days.
I have beaten you every day this week. Acknowledge me 3 times.
All right.
Acknowledge me. Acknowledge me. Acknowledge me.
And I'll acknowledge this. How about that? There you go.
All right, you guys, keep up the great work. It's been an awesome show. And
Brother, thanks a lot for calling in.
Yeah, thanks a lot for carpooling me too. Also, my friend.
I'll see you in the morning.
I got to bounce. I'd love to hang out until the Mancini guy gets here, my buddy, but I just can't do it. I got so much stuff that's going on.
Okay.
I'd love to hang out because I have so much more to share this week, but I'll tell you what, next week, we're going to go ahead and start giving out a couple of football picks, especially, not football, Jesus, baseball picks. Where's my mind?
Right.
See, I can't wait till football gets here. But seriously, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for having me on, Peter. You can catch me at _the Greek at Twitter. But you know what? You can catch me right here on the Sports Web, Mondays and Wednesdays. I don't have to go far. Or you can follow me on Facebook, one of the two. Deuces, brother.
There you go. Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire of the Sports Web. Appreciate your time as always. All right. All right. Good stuff there. So let's go out to these comments. We'll read them as we're getting some text messages in right now. What in the world is this? Let's see what that is. It says content not available. Well, it's there. I don't know why it's not saying it's not there. Okay. So I'm trying to produce on air as we speak. Let's go ahead and continue to read some of these comments. We'll take your phone calls. Where do you think the Bucs should pick right now? Who should they pick? Is it an interior line? Is it an edge rusher? Is it a corner? Is it a wide receiver? We went to the mock drafts. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. So let's go out to these comments more here. Roger Shue says Cooch is not the MVP.
This guy sucks.
Who is the MVP then? KR says third, go Bolts and go Magic. Yes. Christopher Cole, Sunday at 12:30 on ESPN. Is that the Cleveland or... Well, I know Cleveland and Orlando are 1 o'clock on Saturday, so I'm not trying to confuse the two there. Orlando starting out in Cleveland, 1 o'clock on Bally's. And then Sunday at 12:30, it's the Lightning versus the Florida Panthers. So there you go. Except the tribal troll. Tim says, what's up, fellas? What's going on, buddy? How you doing? Eric says, Cooch MVP. Hey, Greek, glad you're here. Thanks a lot for coming. Recon Scout Malacca. Appreciate it.
This guy sucks.
That's what you get for that. Rays winning 4-3, but they lost again. The update there, Rays lose to the Angels 5-4. Draft Rattler, you're saying that. I know you love Spencer Rattler there from, was at Oklahoma, I believe, and now South Carolina. He could go second, third round. LFG, Rays about to win. Not so fast.
This guy sucks.
No. Roger says, I've known Pete 20 years and never heard him say he's Sicilian. I call. Well, I'm telling you, I'm part Sicilian. I mean, that's not a lie. I am part Sicilian. Now, don't be fooled here, because on my dad's side, he was Sicilian. So that's the part. I'm telling you, I can get tan also if I work on it. Trust me, I can do it. Pete can't spell Italian. The Sports Web again. All right. Thank you very much for, commenting on this issue for the night. Rays winning, Cooch with 100, Heat up in the fourth quarter. Some of that was great. Some of it, not so much. Thanks a lot, Mike, for commenting.
Oh, yeah.
City of Tampa winning, absolutely. Big W Wednesday. Roger with the laugh out loud. Eric, victory Wednesday. Not so much for the Rays, but for the Lightning, yes. 6-1. The update there over the Toronto Maple Leafs. Next, Pete's going to tell us he's part Greek. Never said that. Ralph says, good evening, guys. What's going on, Ralph?
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to Kimberly here. Not this girl. I love my Buccaneers. I really love the fact that you tune in here to the evolution of Sports Talk Television on a Monday and Wednesday night with phone lines open. Talking draft 8 days away. What do you think the Bucs should do? Lightning win. What are their chances? How confident are you versus the Panthers? And, of course, the Rays lose tonight. Any concerns? It is still early in the season. But if you have any concerns, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's go out to Russ. What's for dinner? No idea. Wrong show, my friend. We don't cook on this show. In fact, I always have one thing to say. Air fryers save lives. Why? Because I can't cook. I just can't. Same thing. What happened to FSU? Nobody talks FSU or USF. Media. Recon Scout. How do I follow Harry? He told you. Eric, Tampa Bay scores again, 6-1. We already updated that. Eric again. Backup cold tender looks amazing. Roger Shue, Caleb Williams is my quarterback. We will have a fan draft next Wednesday night. So if you want to be a general manager of your favorite team besides the Bucs and you get that pick right, we will buy you wings. I promise you. Me and Harry, we will provide you some food. We will have you out on the sports web. We will have you live on the show with you saying how great you are as a general manager of your favorite NFL team during the NFL fan draft. We've done that the last couple of years here. Chicago White sucks. Russ says the safe thing for Tampa would be pick an OL in round 1 and 2, solidify that line. But Russ, who is your edge rusher? Like, nobody has been able to give me the answer that I'm looking for. Like, you're going into the season with Randy Gregory. You're going into the season with JTS. You're going into the season with Anthony Nelson. I get it. You have Yaya Diaby. I get it. You have Kalijah Kancey. But who's on the other side? Where is that other pass rush coming from? Again, I understand that Gregory is highly talented, but this is his fourth team in 4 years. So what can he provide you? He's going to get opportunities. He's going to get every opportunity. I think you got to have somebody there to come in and challenge him and give him some competition. Is there a guy out there? Is it Chop Robinson? Is it Latu from UCLA? We'll see. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Russ says Longhorn wide receiver be good one to get. I don't know if they go wide receiver. I mean, you're going to go wide receiver in the first round? When you have needs at the offensive line situation, when you have to protect Baker Mayfield, I understand you want to give outside weapons, but how many outside weapons you want? You still got Evans playing at his prime. I get it. He's getting older, but he's still playing at his prime. Chris Godwin is going to be in his natural position in the slot in this Liam Cohen offense. You've got Trey Palmer who came on. You've got Devin Tompkins, Raheem Jarrett. You're going to draft another wide receiver. Does that make sense to you? You go with another because he's fast? I think you could go with an interior line. I think you can go with an edge rusher. I think you can even go and make a case for a corner. I don't know if you're going to make a case for a wide receiver. We'll see. We'll see. Best player on the board, right? Want Worthy from Texas. Russ says Tyke Smith is from the Georgia Bulldogs. I'm familiar. If you draft based on talent, you get Dallas Turner from Bama, defensive end. He won't be there. He'll probably be gone to 8 to the Atlanta Falcons. Or the Falcons could take Verse. You got to take some line. You got to take some defense if you're the Atlanta Falcons. Or you go offensive line at that point because you're so questionable with Cousins at the starting controls coming off that ACL injury. So you have to definitely think that. But that's the great thing about this draft this year, especially with the run on quarterbacks, with the run on skill positions and possibly offensive linemen. You start to have some players that could have gone in that top 10 to top 15, even the top 20 start to slip down. And maybe possibly there's somebody there at 26 that the Bucs take that they wouldn't have got at 26. Or once again, like Jason Light said, if it starts at 20 and there's somebody there you want, you may have to trade that extra third round pick or fourth round pick in order to move up those spots. I don't think it takes a first round pick. I don't think it takes a first round pick next year. I mean, in the top 10, yes. In the 20, I don't know about that. That's a lot. That's exorbitant. I can't see that. Want Chop Robinson, Penn State. Russ, if Marvin Harrison is there at 26, you better draft him. Russ, he's not going to be there.
Shut up!
Come on, let's stop playing now. Marvin Harrison Jr. will not get out of that top 10. And if he gets out of the top 10, there should be an investigation. like there was a drug test failed, or he did terrible on his test or his interviews. And even then, the tape does not lie for Mr. Harrison Jr. Not only is he, son of a great wide receiver, Marvin Harrison from the Colts, right? So that's an advantage. But also the production at Ohio State, a generational talent. He would really have to fail in order to be there. Matthews denied 70th goal. That's good.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful thing there. Russ says, do we draft who Mel Kiper says we draft? Mel's not always accurate on that. Mel's pretty accurate. He's the guy that created all this, these mock drafts, and the reason why you watch the draft in the first place, right? I always tell the story, I'm starting out in sports broadcasting being about 14, 15 years old. I think I was about 15, 16 years old, and I have the Mel Kiper draft report, and somehow I lose it. So I'm supposed to go on TV and do a mock draft of who I think the Bucs are going to go for. Now, at the time, being biased, I saw I wanted Simeon Rice to be the guy. Of course, he wasn't there. He got drafted by 3. Mel said that Simeon was not going to be there. I should have taken Mel's advice. The point was that I lost his draft report, called him on the phone, talked to him, and he actually sent me a copy of that draft report signed. True story. Absolutely. Nothing but respect for Mel Kiper Jr. Awesome. Still messed up on the mock draft. But I had the information right in front of me. You could have just gone with Mel. You should have gone with Mel. You would have been right on that, and I didn't. I went with somebody else. And, of course, the Bucs that year, I believe, ended up, and this was 96, drafting a Reagan Upshaw from California. I guess you guys remember that. All right, Christopher Cole. The run on quarterbacks, wide receivers, offensive tackles will be the reason why some talent falls back to us. Absolutely. Great comment.
Oh, yeah.
That's exactly correct. Right there. And that's exactly what Todd Bowles was talking about, a couple of months ago at the owner meetings, that there would be some defensive players that possibly would be there. That would, he said defensive players. It wasn't offensive players, defensive players. So what is going on? Who is texting me right now? This is crazy. All right. I don't know what that is. So thank you, Chris, for that. Yaya was a 3rd round pick. He was. You're exactly right. Came out of nowhere. Can you get a 3rd round pick? I guess you could. I guess you definitely could go out there and get a 3rd round pick, couldn't you? Sure you could. But are there the players there at this point that you're saying, you know what, this is the guy right now? There's guys out there in the 3rd round that are going to come in and be like Yaya Diaby. I don't know. I think it's more of a possibility, if you will, that Jason Light takes an edge rusher with the 1st round pick at 26, and then you go with offensive line in the later rounds. I would just say that. I would. All right. So I think, okay, there we go. Let's go out to Russ here. Ladd McConkey is a good wide receiver to grab in the 2nd round. Do you spend a 2nd round? You could spend a 2nd round pick on an offensive lineman. You could spend a 2nd round pick on a guard. You could spend a 2nd round pick on a center. I think that's where you could go. That's where you can get the most value. That's what Jason Light does. Unless there is a Jackson Powers Johnson on the board, or there's a Graham Barton on the board at 26, then I think you sit right there and take the best player, which would be at that point, if there is no edge rusher on there, or if you favor those offensive linemen over a Chop Robinson, or even, and we haven't talked about this kid, a Darrell Robinson from Missouri, who will be in that conversation as a defensive end, who is a hybrid, who can play multiple positions. You go in that direction. A hard no on Chop Robinson. Sitton says, go Bucs. Absolutely go Bucs. Let's go out to Frankie G. Do you feel like the Bucs should find a late round quarterback sleeper in the draft, or are you sold on Baker for the future? I'm sold on Baker being for the future. I'm just not sold on Kyle Trask. So if the Bucs do go with, say, a Rattler in the 3rd or 4th round, or you go with, because I'm a Florida State fan, a Jordan Travis in the 5th or 6th round because he has the injury history, but a highly productive quarterback, then you know your answer with Kyle Trask and where this organization lies on him. Because then you turn the page. Because you figured that if, Baker is the guy that you signed and Kyle is going to be that backup and he's going to be the future quarterback, then why do you need to draft a quarterback in this draft in the first place? And if you do, then you've got your answer. So to answer your question, I don't think they believe in Kyle Trask. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do draft a quarterback. And if they do draft a quarterback in the later rounds, the names that we mentioned are certainly possibilities. Jim says, how out is our for their pick? For the Bucs pick, they pick at 26. So if they were wanting to trade up, they would have to trade, possibly a 3rd or 4th round pick, depending on how far they're trading up. Like if you're talking about trading in the top 10, that's not going to happen. You're going to have to give up a 1st round pick, not only this year, but next year, multiple years. But you're trading a couple of spots up. I don't think it's going to cost you that much. I don't. All right. Damn it, Jim. Thanks a lot.
Damn it, Jim. What the hell's the matter with you?
Appreciate the comments. Sitton says we need speed at receiver. You got that. You got that with Trey Palmer. I know he's inconsistent, but he's definitely got speed at wide receiver. You've got Raheem Jarrett. You got Devin Tompkins there. Do you go and address that? We'll see. I guess there's a possibility of it. Go FSU. Absolutely. Let's go ahead and play the FSU theme song. There you go. There you go. All right. Thank you very much, Jim. Appreciate you as always. KR says, I volunteer for number 1. Unfortunately, KR, I didn't see this. So Roger has number 1, but number 2 is available. That's the thing. Who are the Washington Commanders going to take at number 2? Is it going to be J.J. McCarthy of Michigan? Is it going to be Jaden Daniels of LSU? Is it going to be Drake May of North Carolina? I think that's where you start the draft at that point. As crazy as that sounds, because then that's when the blocks start to, that's when the dominoes, that's what I mean. That's when the dominoes start to fall. Because whomever quarterback you take at that point, then you believe that the Patriots are going to go with the quarterback. It's either going to be Daniels or May. I think Daniels goes to Washington, but the major rumor right now is that J.J. McCarthy from Michigan is going to go number 2. So if you're New England, you have the choice between Drake May or Jaden Daniels. And then somebody may call up and give you multiple picks, like the Denver Broncos. They may give you multiple 1st-round picks. So if you're the Patriots, do you take that call? And who do you take? Do you take a Daniels or do you take a May? And then after that, Arizona, you believe they don't need a quarterback because you got Kyler Murray. You're going to take one of the wide receivers, either Marvin Harrison Jr. or Malik Neighbors. You go to the Chargers at 5 there, or Jim Harbaugh. You've got Justin Herbert at quarterback. Who's your wide receivers? You don't have one. So if it's Marvin Harrison Jr. going to 4 with Arizona, then you would have to think it's Neighbors, right? Or Dunsier from Washington. And then the list goes on and on. That's how the draft works. But the interesting thing about that is the further down you get, if there's some players out there, teams start to get desperate, right? So you go back to those comments from Jason Light saying, I don't want to make it an emotional decision. There's some teams out there that make that emotional decision. You go back to the Cleveland Browns, right? Emotional decision. Johnny Manziel, let's wreck the league together. We got to take a quarterback. We got to take Johnny Football. Wasn't the right decision. But you get lost in the emotion. Johnny Manziel's starting to fall. He's on our board. Maybe he wasn't on the board, but it's an emotional by the owner. We got to take the guy. It wasn't the right decision. Teams start to get desperate. They start to get emotional. And then when you start to get emotions involved, then things start to happen. Then you start to want to draft or trade picks, multiple picks over and over again. That is the interesting thing about the draft, and it's only 8 days away. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391 on the sports web here. Again, 8 days away from hearing this. And again, no venue right now picked out, but we will have a fan draft next Wednesday night. We will have the fans coming on and being the general manager and hopefully making your pick and telling us why you made that pick in the first place. And hopefully we have many fans doing it, because I don't want to do this all night. I don't want to make the picks. That's no fun. I don't want Harry to make the picks. I don't want Ray to make the picks. Hell, we could have some celebrity GMs. Maybe we get the greatness of TJ Reeves, who doesn't pick for the Bucs but picks for another team. But remember, if you get your pick right after you put in $10 for your entry fee, we're going to buy you lunch. All right, let's go out to the phone lines. What's your name? Where you're calling from? You're on the Sports Web.
Hey, Peter, Jeremy, how's it going, brother?
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Good, man. Getting more excited, man. We're getting closer and closer.
Yeah?
I'll be 34 next Tuesday, and then...
Whoa! Happy birthday! What's going on,
sir.
brother?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's why I love the draft. It's close to my birthday, you know. I can go back in time to where in 2020, the first round was on my birthday, and we took Tristan Wirfs, and boom, we won a Super Bowl after that. So,
yeah,
you know, I'm excited, man. How about you? Are you excited?
Oh, of course, man. You know, draft is my time of the year. It's like my Christmas. As I was saying about the Mel Kiper story, you know, Mel always got me into it. I started watching the draft. Damn, I think that was probably the first sports event when it had to do with football, and it involved 1987. It was Vinny. You know, everybody they wanted Vinny Testaverde to be the franchise quarterback. He was the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback with the Miami Hurricanes, and he was the saving grace for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And hope sprang eternal for Testaverde to be that guy. And of course, it didn't turn out that way because the Bucs didn't build around him, and it didn't transition. And it doesn't always. There's always, you know, there's never a guarantee that's going to do that. But to answer your question, I love the draft. I live for the draft. I hope we find a venue. If we don't, we'll be live that night. We'll be live on that Thursday night. It's my Christmas. We'll be talking draft nonstop for the last 3 hours, taking comments and taking questions and, you know, breaking down the picks. So to answer your question, yes, I'm absolutely pumped up for the draft, my friend.
Awesome, bro. I love it. I love it, man. I love the energy.
Thank you.
And I'm like you, man. You know, it's one of my favorite, one of my favorite days of the year, the draft, especially when I know one of the picks, you know, when I do my little mods, it always makes you feel good inside. Oh my goodness, they actually made the pick. I mean, it's just great. It's just wonderful. I mean, yeah, there's picks that we missed on over the years, but lately, you know, light's been on point. You know, luckily we actually got a good Kibble GM making, you know, better decisions. And like Scott Reynolds is from Peter Report, when he drafts a bad player, he ends up fixing it the next year and drafting the same position, a better player. So hats off, you know, to that. For the most part, man, I mean, it's gonna be fun. I'll be traveling to Chicago, hanging out with some friends up north and stuff like that. So I'll be up there watching the draft and, you know, just kicking in, you know, and just enjoying watching these players get taken by certain teams. Hopefully our division rivals don't pick the players that we want. That's what really worries me out the most.
Well, where would you go right now if you're Jason Light at 26? Would you trade out? Would you trade up? I mean, what do you think about Jared Verse? If he starts to fall, is that a guy that you automatically run to the podium and try to trade up for? Because to me, he's a perfect prospect. He's the best defensive player in this draft, in my opinion. You're going to look at things like, you know, Latu's got a neck injury, can't necessarily play the run. You're not talking about this with this kid Verse. He can do it all. He's got a high motor. He's been highly productive at, some great competition there, whether it's in the ACC or not. He's always played well. And I feel like, you know, this Bucs defense is missing a piece like that. And could you imagine Jared Verse and a Yaya Diaby, if he happens to fall? For me, that's an easy decision by Jason Light and this Tampa Bay Buccaneer organization to trade up. What do you say?
Jared Verse, it's interesting you mentioned that because Jared Verse, I watched this man, you know, hands first, you know, I'm a Gator fan. I watched what he did.
Sure.
Taking over the game, and I was like, oh, my God, this guy is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched him, you know, over the season. You know, 'cause I like to study my opponents, you know, when it comes to being, you know, a team fan. And honestly, Peter, you may agree or disagree. I think he'll be the first edge taken off the board before Dallas Turner.
He may be. And again, I'm just throwing it out there because I've seen mock drafts here, come up where he's slipping because of the run on quarterbacks, because of the run on, the wide receivers and some of the offensive linemen. But I tend to agree with you. If I'm the Atlanta Falcons, I take him because he definitely helps that defensive line out. If I'm the Chicago Bears, I would take him. I would definitely consider it if you're in that position. I don't think the Giants are going to do it because they already got Burns, but who knows? If you want to solidify that defense, maybe you go with the Jared Verse. Maybe you don't go with the quarterback or a wide receiver. I still think you go with the wide receiver at that point. I'm not sure if you're going to go with the quarterback depending on who's the board, but they'll have plenty of options. But if you want a prospect that is clean in terms of character, production, high motor, to me, it's Jared Verse out of Florida State, bar none.
No, I agree. No, Jared Verse, he's a great prospect, and I would definitely take him if he were to fall. But, Jason Light, he's not a big fan of trading away his picks. And you got to remember, we don't have a fifth. So
correct.
Let's say he falls to 20. Obviously, we're going to give up a fourth rounder. So now we're pretty much got that big gap from, the third round all the way to the sixth round. I just don't see Jason Light pulling the trigger. Knowing Jason Light, he'll wait for the board to fall, best player available, and if the best player's not available, then you trade out.
Yeah,
because there's so many good offensive linemen from tackle to guard. It's insane. I think we're going to see so many linemen taken this first round that we've seen a long time, and that's what I'm seeing. So if it was me, and there's no Verse, no Liatu, no Grant Barton, JPJ, I see he's falling, but now I'm hearing rumors that there's something going on, I guess, with him. I'm not sure what it is.
Well, who's creating the rumors? Is that the Bucs because they're trying to get him to come down to 26? Is that Bucs fans themselves? Because I feel like Bucs fans at this point would absolutely themselves if he were there at 26. And I'd be happy with that pick. Don't get me wrong. But I don't know if he gets past Seattle at 16. You have the Pittsburgh Steelers there. You have the Dallas Cowboys. You have the Philadelphia, especially the Philadelphia Eagles. Think about this for a moment and how much of a premium they put on offensive linemen, how they built one of the best offensive lines in the last couple of years, how you want to protect Jalen Hurts. And what do? You possibly get the best center in the draft in a Jackson Powers Johnson, who, by the way, takes over for Jason Kelsey. That seems to make sense to me.
No, it does. Even if he gets past Philly, you got Dallas, who else they're starting center. They're going to get in their starting center. I can see. And Jerry Jones is very big at picking offensive linemen in the first round, whether it's center, guard, or tackle. So it wouldn't surprise me if he gets taken before our pick. I'm not saying I wouldn't take JPJ. Believe me, if he landed 26, take him. He's pretty much going to solidify the offensive line. I'll do you one better, Peter. You take JPJ in the first, and then you take a Mason McCormick in the third round as a guard, then you really solidify the offensive line to protect Baker Mayfield for him to make plays. I mean, there's so many ways Jason Light could go in this draft.
But who do you go with an edge rusher? That's my question. And are you confident? And we got Jeremy on here. And what podcast do you do? Is it the Buccateers? Is that what it is?
Yes, sir. I do. I call some Buccateers.
Buccateers. I love it. And we got to get you on here. In fact, I would say if you want to come on the draft night and talk draft, and who knows, if you want to be one of these general managers and picking for another team and you get it right, we'll buy you lunch here on the Sports Web, but we'll get you on video. If you have a video there, I know you do. We'll get you on that fan draft that night, talk to fans and have a good time there with this mock draft. What do you say?
That sounds like an awesome offer. I really mean that. No, seriously, I do. And since you brought up Buccateers, we're actually going to be doing a day 3 on Saturday for the whole day for the show. You know, that's our game plan as well. So absolutely, you know, I'll definitely would be interested Thursday night because I'll be in Chicago, but I'll find a way if I have to use my phone. But
well,
yeah,
Wednesday night. It'll be Wednesday night, and we'll have a fan draft, and we will get fans on here to be the general manager. And if you want to be a general manager of a specific team, you know, we'll charge you an entry fee of $10. We'll get you on video. If you get it right, we'll buy you lunch. If you don't, You get an opportunity to be on the Evolution, promote your podcast, and talk draft. What's better than that here on the Sports Web?
No, that's definitely good. I'm about to take you up on that Wednesday night. That'd be perfect. Definitely. Let me know. Yeah, I'll be down.
You're invited, my friend. Definitely invited, and also invited to anytime promote your podcast and get on here and talk Bucs football. Anything else here? By the way, going back to it, the edge rusher for you. You're okay with going with Randy Gregory and going with JTS and Anthony Nelson and Yaya Diaby. Who else do you go with at that point?
So if it was me, Jared Verse, that's who's gone, obviously. You could go Chop Robinson. He's another one. But to me, he's a great athlete.
Mm-hmm.
But the question is, do you really want to go with another project like you did with JTS and really count on that? If we get him, I'll be all for it. I won't be mad about it.
Right.
But there are some edge rushers they can take later on as a project. For example, at the 3rd or 4th round, you can throw in there as a rotation. I'm totally confident with a Yaya Diaby, maybe Randy Gregory starting, or you go with an Anthony Nelson, because let's not forget, Nelson showed some promise in 22.
Sure.
23, he was kind of off a little bit. But however, you can never have enough depth at edge rusher. I'd rather have more depth at the edge rusher by drafting somebody in the 3rd or 4th round to help with the rotation than possibly gamble on a Chop Robinson, or Darius Robinson from Missouri. That makes any sense at all.
Yeah.
That'd be my opinion.
And I said Darryl Robinson is Darius Robinson. You're correct. A Missouri. That's another player that's been mentioned. But you see the mocks. It's Barton, it's Chop Robinson, and there's also Jackson Powers Johnson. Good stuff, Jeremy. Anything else here on the Evolution?
Ready for some playoff hockey, man? Tampa Bay Lightning, Florida Panthers.
I'm telling you, man. I'm ready for hockey. It's starting this Sunday at 12:30. Which, by the way, what a weird time.
I know it's early.
Why 12:30 on Sunday? It's like, do you want me to get up early on a Sunday? Like, I guess I can sleep in until about 11. But 12:30, okay. I'll be watching. We'll be talking about it here. We'll try to get some hockey guests on. Yeah, absolutely. What do you think about Kucherov getting those 100 assists tonight? Amazing stuff, right?
Kucherov is the GOAT, man. Is
he the MVP this year, Jeremy, in your opinion?
Yes.
Okay.
Because the Lightning, they were out to a rough start to where fans were kind of turning. Not all fans, but, certain fans. You get some of those fans that turn, and they're like, oh, we're going to have a rough year. They're an average team. But let's not forget, Vasilevsky was coming off a procedure on his back. It takes time for him to get used to the things.
Sure.
And after that trade deadline, when you had 2 veteran presence in there and they're playing pretty darn well, if you ask me, to me, we're the team that nobody wants to play in the playoffs. I think Boston dropped that game on purpose so they don't have to play us because we own them.
Agree.
And Florida Panthers, they're a good team. They are. They were close. They were Stanley Cup, conference, Stanley Cup final away from winning it. But at the end of the day, we got all these pieces that know how to go in there and win games. And and not to be confident, but we own Florida too.
Yeah.
The last couple times we played them, we swept them. What, 22? No, is it 22? No, 21. Sorry, 21.
Mm-hmm.
And then what was the other one? No, but it was 22.
Did you sweep them? Did you sweep them there? I thought you lost a couple of games. You lost a couple of games. It was a tough series with them.
No, my mistake. I meant to say was in 22 after we got past the Maple Leafs, we swept them 4-0.
I think you're right about that. Yes.
And then we ended up going to the next round.
Mm-hmm.
The year before, yes, you're right. I think we won 4-2 or something like that. But still,
right.
I mean, they were not scary to me. You know what I mean? They're not a team that puts that fear in me. Because you get those certain teams that put that fear in you. You're thinking, oh, okay, this team we don't want to play. That's how I feel with the Lightning toward anybody in the Eastern Conference side of the playoffs. Like, oh man, the Lightning, they got to play them. I mean, at the end of the day,
because Tampa Bay has that veteran leadership. They have a Kucherov, as we talked about. They have the captain and a Steven Stamkos. They have Blackjack Braden Point, who nearly has 50 goals this year. You've got players on this team, and then also you trade for an Anthony Duclair, who, by the way, was with Florida last year and helped them go a long way. So you have to feel good about the momentum of the way this team is playing right now. Jeremy, thanks a lot for the call here, and definitely use that second call anytime you want to, my friend. All right?
I will, Peter. Thank you again for the invite, man. Looking forward to talk to you, man.
Yeah,
Take
man.
care.
Sounds good. Always love, Bucks podcast out there. Great Bucks podcast, Bucketeers. Anybody in this community, and people say, well, this is podcast. Well, no, it's not really a podcast because podcasts are recorded. This is not recorded. This is live. I screw up, you see it. We take phone calls, we take reaction, we take engagement. And again, phone lines are open. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391 as we're on Instagram. Thanks a lot for tuning in there. Appreciate that. Questions for the night. What should the Bucks do at 26? Do you trade up if there's a Jared Verse? Do you trade down if you can get more value there? Do you stay put? Who do you draft? Is it interior lineman? Is it an edge rusher? Is it a corner? Is it a wide receiver? A lot of things thrown out tonight. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. So 8 days away, man. 8 days away until you hear this. I love it. I got to play it again. I love it. And that's when ESPN announces who the draft pick is. And at number 26, who do the Tampa Bay Buccaneers take? We know who's going to go number one, right? You assume that the Chicago Bears are not going to screw this up, that Caleb Williams is going to be your number one overall pick. You would think. I mean, if that doesn't happen, I think Bears fans will have a stroke. And will probably cause a riot and try to burn the city down. Literally. Because you pass up on Patrick Mahomes for Money Mitch, which didn't work out. You didn't get a quarterback last year. You pass on that opportunity, right? It was the right thing. C.J. Stroud comes to mind, though. That's going to be the comparison this year. Is Caleb Williams the next C.J. Stroud? It's so crazy because it was Bryce Young. Bryce Young was the number one overall pick for the Carolina Panthers, and now he's like an afterthought compared to C.J. Stroud and what he did for the Houston Texans, taking them to the playoffs, getting past the first round, putting up the numbers that he did as a rookie quarterback. So to me, the pressure is on. You don't make a trade for Justin Fields with a 6th-round pick to the Pittsburgh Steelers, conditional 4th if he starts. Doubt it. Russell Wilson is in control there. He's going to be the starting quarterback of that team. You don't make that trade for Fields to not draft one of these quarterbacks. Could be Jaden Daniels. I doubt it. I think he's very talented. Going back to when the Rely Quest Bowl was in town, we talked to Coach Brian Kelly. And what did he tell you? Do I have those comments somewhere? I mean, if I could find those comments right now, that would be excellent. Of course, I'm cleaning out my computer, so I may not necessarily have those comments, but I want to go back to it. I want to see if I do have it with Jaden Daniels. But in so many words, he said he's going to command the building. He's going to come in that building and command it. He's going to be the leader of your team. And then you see what he did on the field, being a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. The numbers are ridiculous. The throwing touchdowns are ridiculous. The mobility is ridiculous. I'm not sure if you buy that report that the Commanders are going to go with the J.J. McCarthy. Love McCarthy. He's a winner. Won a national championship with Michigan. You're going to take him over Daniels? You're going to take him over Drake May? I don't know. That's where the draft is. That's where the intrigue is, because Caleb Williams, in my opinion, is going number one to the Chicago Bears. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's go out to Christopher Cole. Watts and Ramirez need more playing time. Of course, Marquise Watts, number 58. It's so weird to say that because 58 used to be Shaq Barrett. And now Shaq Barrett was 7 last year, and now he's not even here anymore. He's with the Miami Dolphins, saying Bucks are going to regret that move. We'll see. But it comes down to a business. It comes down to a cap situation where you're not able to pay that $15 million, so you have to move on. The reason why you're moving on, you're getting Randy Gregory because you have younger players in that building. But the reason why you're moving on, if you're Jason Light and the administration, is what? Because you feel like there's an upgrade in the draft. Aha! That may be where they're going. 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. You're correct. Watts is a young player. Ramirez is a young player. But are these the players that you're going to depend on? Or are they just guys? Are they just rotation dudes? Are they like, JTS? Are they Anthony Nelson? Even Yaya Diaby. Like, there's lots of potential there. Don't get me wrong. I love Yaya. I love me some Yaya. Yaya is going to be a building block of this defensive line with the Kalijah Cansey. I mean, those are your two future guys at the end of the day. They are. Like, Bucs fans, if you're going to be excited about this defense, you start with those two names. Cansey being a number 19th overall pick, showed flashes of brilliance. He's going to come back, knock on wood. Hopefully he's healthy. Yaya Diaby, third-round pick, taking over for JTS. What's the second-year transition? Is there a sophomore slump? Is there, some type of progression? You would think there is. But those are the two guys you start off with. And then Vita Vea, of course. You re-sign a William Golston. You have a Gaines there. I mean, but you have some things there. Logan Hall, we talked about, right? But where's that edge rusher coming from? That's what I want to know from Bucs fans. 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. All right. Two tight ends. Don't think Bowers is on the board. Guyton at 26 is MH. Pass protection is the need he can fill. I don't know if you go with tackle MH. It's a good move because he's a huge hoss, as my uncle would say, from Oklahoma, right? 6'8", 6'9", over 300 pounds, but he's more of a tackle. Are you going to go with the tackle? Luke Gedeke, really settled in at that right spot. You have Tristan Wirfs, most likely the best, if not the best, left tackle there. Is Guyton a guard? Is he a center? I think he's more of a tackle. I don't know if you go in that direction, but I understand it. I get it. There's not a lot of Luke Gedeke fans out there. There's not. But I think those are your two bookends going forward. It's Tristan Wirfs on the left side, of course, Luke Gedeke on the right, and I don't know if Guyton fits in there. When is the NFL starting draft? It is next Thursday night at 8 o'clock. Cole, that is such a great story about Mel Kiper. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah.
True story, too. Didn't make it up. I think I'm good on receivers. Absolutely. KR says, haha, number 2, please. So there you go. Mr. KR, who won last year, is going to take a stab this year as he will select for number 2 there with the Washington Commanders. Who does he think is going to go number 2? Let's go out to the phone lines. What's your name? Where you're calling from? You're on the Evolution.
Hey, long time no hear. This is Frankie from Wisconsin.
What's up, Frankie? How you doing, buddy?
Let's just say I went through a lot of stuff.
I guess so, man. It's been a long time. How long has it been since you called the Sports Web?
It's been about 4 years. 3 years.
Wow, Frankie. I became the Rolex reporter, right? Like I got a Rolex from Jake Paul right there. And there's a lot of things that have changed. I'm not with Bucs Report anymore. I'm with my own platform here on I Love St. Pete and Bucs Life. So welcome back, buddy.
Well, I've been following you and I've been keeping up. I'm a diehard Bucs fan. You know that.
Good. Awesome.
Well, my MS has progressed considerably worse. I am, just to keep you updated with me, I am 100% wheelchair bound now.
I do apologize for that. God bless you, my friend.
The relationship that I was in, I was hiding from a lot of people, but I am a DV survivor.
Wow.
So men can be domestic violence survivors as well. So speak up. It's okay.
Well,
But anyway,
yes.
Back to football. I want to talk draft.
Okay.
Honestly, there's two guys that I like in the first. There's one guy I really want to see them grab in the first round, but I just got a feeling they're not going to go with.
Well, throw it out there anyway, Frankie. It's okay.
I really want to see him grab Kool-Aid. I want to see him grab Kool-Aid. I think Kool-Aid's one of the top corners in the coming out of the draft.
I definitely think you could be right about that, and he could be there at 26, and you may be right about that because Jamel Dean is still there. You've got Zion McCollum. Everything you've heard in this offseason, he's going to get every opportunity to start, but maybe you also go with that position because you got rid of a Carlton Davis, so you could definitely go with the Kool-Aid.
I know. That's like that was my favorite Buccaneer. I was about ready to get a Buck. I was about ready to get a CD3 jersey.
Right.
And then
I like Carlton Davis.
Trade happened, and I was like, "Oh man, you got rid of CD3. Why?" But I understand he's kind of injury prone, and you got to make gaps. It's a business, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So it doesn't matter. He still stays for the Bucs when I play Madden, so it's okay.
There you go.
But the other guy I look at as a possibility, but I think is a risk.
Okay.
Is Latu from UCLA.
A lot of people love him. He's got potential, but he's got a neck injury.
I know that's why I'm like, I don't know if I like him in the first round.
Right.
I like him, but I don't know if I like him in the first round.
Right.
That's what I want. But like, he's got that first round potential. But with that kind of an injury, it's like,
yeah, what's the medical records on? Can he play the run? You know, why is he going so low? Why is he dropping down so low? I mean, I trust the Bucs. I trust the organization. I trust the way they evaluate medicals. So they're going to make the best decision for this team. And if he's there, I'm going to question about the neck injury, but I'm also going to have faith that they're going to get this right. And that this is the guy that's going to be able to get after the quarterback. But there are definitely some question marks there with Mr. Latu.
Yeah. And going further in the second round, this is a guy I feel this guy has enormous potential. Ricky Purcell from Florida.
Wide receiver, yes. He made some plays. He could definitely be there in the second or third round, most likely the third round. Is that a position where you see the Bucs addressing that? A lot of people have talked about that tonight with Mike Evans and his age, and Godwin free agency, and Trey Palmer with the inconsistencies. You've got Devin Tompkins. You've also got Raheem Jarrett, but I guess you could go in that direction also.
That's why I said second, third round. You got Evans locked up for 3 years.
Yeah.
He, in my opinion, bona fide first ballot Hall of Famer. He is the heart and soul of that team.
Absolutely.
Use him for the next 3 years to groom the next Mike Evans if you're not going to keep Chris Godwin when it comes to free agency.
And see, I'm not ready to say they're not going to. I think a lot of people just assume that because of the high cap hit.
I don't assume that they're not going to. I'm assuming they will.
Right.
I assume they will because, like, a lot of people were assuming that Mike Evans was going to go because of the age. And I was just like, no.
Right.
No. He's not going because one of my best friends is a diehard Bear fan, boo. I mean, what do you expect? I live in Wisconsin. Anyway.
Did you say boo? Like, hold on. All right, it's enough of that. All right, go ahead, my friend.
I'm just a fan of football. I don't care.
I love it.
But anyway,
love it, Frankie.
He was just like, dude, I'm hearing a really bad rumor. And I was like, what's that, man? Mike Evans might be going to Kansas City. And I don't want to see Patrick Mahomes throwing to Mike Evans. I was like, don't worry. That's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen, but that was a big time rumor that came out. Yeah.
You just kept seeing it all over the place, and he's literally calling me up, freaking me out, going, this dynasty does not need Mike Evans. I'm like, dude, it's not going to happen.
Right.
And then as soon as it got announced that he resigned, he called me up going, thank you. And I'm like, dude, I told you, you had nothing to worry about, man.
Yeah.
And one more point that I want to make out here before I let you go here, and I let you get on.
Don't be a stranger, by the way, Frankie. Don't make it another 4 years, okay?
Hey, I had to refine myself after going through everything I went through.
I got you, brother. God bless you.
So, but one more point I want to make out here. At the very beginning of the season, I was just like, you know what? Going into this draft, I think, and I'm hoping that we're going to get Drake May. That's what we're doing. We're going to tank the season for Drake May because, dude, we went and got Baker Mayfield.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on. Like that, if that doesn't say we want Drake May, what doesn't? And now, midway through the season, I was like, holy shit. Oh, wait, I can't swear. Okay?
You can. It's okay.
No,
I'll allow it. I'll do this. There you go. There you go. Yes.
I was just like, holy, Baker Mayfield. And then my buddy was just like, he's going to mess it up.
Right.
And then I start watching it. I'm like, dude, Baker Mayfield right now looks like Baker Mayfield from college. That made Baker Mayfield be the first overall pick in the draft.
Exactly.
We got the Baker Mayfield from way back when that Cleveland said, this is our savior. And then he said, hey, guys, I'm going to go to the bar and get messed up. And then he pissed away his career. And then he's like, you know what? I don't need that stuff anymore. I'm going to Tampa. Guess what, boys? We're going Super Bowl bound. That's what I'm saying right now.
I love it. I love the attitude, Frankie. Definitely don't be a stranger. Use that second call if you want to. And definitely call back next week, my friend. All right? Take care. God bless you. Take it easy.
All right. God bless, my friend.
All right, brother. There you go. Good stuff there. 4 years? Wow, man. I'm glad you remembered me. I'm glad you found yourself back here on the sports web. You're always welcome. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. I mean, he remembers me from the Bucs report days. Sometimes going 5 days a week. Remember that, kids? Remember that? Remember during the pandemic when Brady got here? Everybody wanted Bucs content every night. I mean, we were going crazy. That's some great times there. Some scary times, some great times. Definitely. All right, so KR is going to take the Washington Commanders. So you're down. We will go ahead and get your confirmation on that. We'll get the entry fee from everybody. I think we're good on receivers. Cardinals could take Harrison Jr. They could absolutely do that. I think they definitely could. I meant Commander. I mean, why would they? Who do they have as a quarterback there? Like, who's your quarterback? You shipped out Sam Howell. There's a possibility you go after Drake May, who's also from North Carolina. Much better quarterback at this point, right, than Sam Howell, who held the ball way too long. Whether it was the offensive line who couldn't read a defense, you got to draft a quarterback there, number 2. Well, we're going to try to get Kelsey Nicole Nelson hanging with KNN, who's there in the DMV, who will give us the Washington Commanders perspective here very soon. So Commanders, absolutely 8 days. Yes, game on. Game on. Thanks a lot for tuning in here on YouTube. Peter, I'm with you. Jared Verse is the best edge on this draft. To me, if he's there in reach, Jason should go get him. The problem is Jason loves his picks, and I doubt he would do it. Good comment.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to Jim, O-line, and D, okay?
Damn it, Jim, what the hell is the matter with you?
For the draft, good stuff there. Mike D. Roche, NHL MVP, Nathan McKinnon, I don't think so. In fact, I think you've got the wrong player. It is Nikita Kucherov with 100 assists and what he's done for his team. He should be MVP. Mike, we can always talk about that all day long. It's ESPN, and they think we aren't a draw. But, of course, Amalie Arena sells out almost every night. We should draft everyone. Shadow here. I think Kool-Aid. So Kool-Aid.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you a lot. Let's go out to Christopher Cole. Welcome back, Frankie. Yeah, Frankie, 4 years ago, used to call the show every night. Hopefully you continue to call the show here Monday and Wednesdays. And, of course, during the draft. I want the chaos next Thursday night. Of course you do. We all want the chaos on draft night, and we all want the chaos on Wednesday night for the Fan NFL Draft here edition of the Sports Web. And Sam Howell is no longer in Washington. Correct, Meltdown Media. Thanks a lot for tuning in. You're absolutely correct, which is why you have to draft a quarterback. I don't think you go with Marvin Harrison Jr. You go with the wide receiver. Who do you go as the quarterback? No, you're going to go quarterback. It's either going to be J.J. McCarthy from Michigan, Jaden Daniels from LSU, or Drake May, or who knows? Maybe it's Michael Penix Jr. from Washington. Maybe it's a Bo Nix from Oregon. Who knows at the end of the day? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but most likely it's those three picks. Let's go out to Rashard White here, who had some comments about his year overall. Career high 990 yards, 272 carries with 6 touchdowns. And he believes he's just scratching the surface, as we've told you on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. If you're a guy in this league, you want to be a guy that is scouted for and respected. Of course, he told this to the official website, Buccaneers.com. I have seen that and people just leaving me out. I saw that and wanted to make the most and make people fear me and make people respect me. And to say when I come into the game, it's not just 13 Mike Evans or 14 Chris Godwin or number 1, which would be Trey Palmer. You have to worry about me too. White averaged 4.05 yards per carry, going 531 yards, 2 touchdowns on 131 carries. In Tampa's 2 postseason games, he averaged 4.7 yards per carry on 27 totes. So the offensive line got better. Amazing. When the offensive line gets better, White gets better. Let's go out to South Dakota. I believe this is the Shadow. Everybody should fear the Shadow because the Shadow is on the Sports Web. What's going on, Jeremiah?
How are you doing, Peter?
I'm doing good, buddy. What do you think about the Bucs? And at 26, are you trading up? Do you think they trade up for Jared Verse if he's there? Do you trade down or do you stay put? And who would you draft? Is it Kool-Aid, like you said on the comment, or is it somebody else?
Well, I'd love to see Kool-Aid get there because we need a defensive back.
So you're not buying Jamel Dean and Zion McCollum. You still go with the corner.
I don't. Maybe even Kool-Aid could be a safety.
Well, I don't think he's going to be safety. I think you're going to draft him. He's going to be a corner. And I think you're pretty good there at safety with Antoine Winfield Jr., obviously being one of the best safeties in the game, if not the best safety in the game. And then once again, the addition of a guy that's flying under the radar for Bucs fans, Jordan Whitehead. I'm telling you, Jordan Whitehead is a major move by this Bucs team that nobody is looking at, that it's going to improve this defense tremendously.
That's because it's loss of size.
What do you mean?
Well, Whitehead ain't that big of a guy, is he?
He's not a big guy, but he could definitely wallop you. You want to go across the middle with that guy? You want him to cover because he can cover, he can make plays, and he'll wallop you. He'll make some plays. Todd Bowles will get creative with him. It's a possibility they could go with another safety, but I doubt it. I doubt it at 26.
Well,
yeah. So you're a Kool-Aid guy. You're into Kool-Aid, huh? What's your favorite Kool-Aid? What's your favorite Kool-Aid flavor?
probably cherry.
Cherry. Why is it cherry?
So it's got to pop somewhere.
It does. Well,
that was a good one. I don't care if you like it or not.
Why did I even ask you that, Shadow? I knew where you were going to go with that. You know, you're a shadow monster on this show. I knew you were going to bring me into the darkness, and that's exactly what you did. Very good, my friend. What else?
Well, we could go verse.
Yeah, well, if he's there. I don't know if he's there or not. I'm just throwing it out there. Like, I don't have any inside
we could trade up, though.
Huh?
We could trade up, though. You don't know.
Well, you could, depending on what players are on the board at that point. You're exactly right. You could. And you got the flexibility to do it because you got that extra third-round pick from the Lions.
Yeah. Who's the best player in the draft, in your opinion, other than Caleb?
I said Jared Verse. I think that's definitely one of those players. Clean prospect, Marvin Harrison Jr., very clean prospect.
Well, you know damn well they're not going to be there, though.
Well, they're not going to be there at 26. But you asked me who the best players in this draft are. I think that's where you go with the clean prospects. Yeah.
What you're left with, I mean.
Huh?
What you're left with, I mean. Who do you think is going to be left?
That's a great question.
At our pick or if we trade up.
I mean, it could be Chop Robinson because he's got, so much athleticism. He ran that high 40 time, but lack of production. Maybe he's there. A lot too.
Is that guy from Penn State?
Yes, that is that guy from Penn State. Yes.
Daenerys Robinson or whatever?
No, that's Chop Robinson. Chop Robinson is the guy from Penn State. The other guy is from Missouri. That's who you're talking about. And then Latu is from UCLA, who has a neck injury.
He wears number 15.
Yeah, there you go.
He looks hot on tape.
Well, there you go. He looks hot on tape. That's important. But can that transition to the NFL level to be productive for the Bucs this year, not only to win that NFC South, but win some playoff games because that window is starting to close for this team. Make no mistake about it.
No, he worked good at his combine, though.
Yeah.
Latulu, or whatever his name is.
Latu?
Latulu.
It's not Latulu.
Latulu or something. Tulu.
Yeah, you're in La La Land right now, Jeremiah. What else?
No, I'm trying to remember his name. I just watched
We'll just call
the
Latu.
combine.
We'll call him Latu. How about that? Latu.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Latu. What
Latu
else?
go to.
Latu, G2, R3, D2. Yes, exactly.
Jeez. Go to Star Wars, do you?
I know, I am. The force be with you, my friend.
Yeah, well, may the fourth be with you.
Yes,
It's already over.
Yeah, exactly. You sound like Yoda there when you laughed. That was pretty funny.
No, I don't know him today.
You laugh again. Do that laugh again. He sounded like Yoda. That's very good. Very good, my friend.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Jeremiah. Anything else? By the way, how many drinks have you had tonight?
Just 3 beers.
3 beers. What kind of beer you drink?
Budweiser.
Yeah, how's that for you? Is that good?
Feels good.
Do you do that every night you watch the sports web? Do you have to have a little buzz to watch the sports web to make you laugh? Do I make you laugh when you get a buzz?
You don't even make me laugh when you're sober.
Well, what about when you're sober? Do I make you laugh when you're sober or when you're drunk?
I said you don't even make me laugh when you're
okay.
when I'm sober.
So I just entertain you. That's it. You just have to have a little buzz.
No, I just like hearing all the phone calls.
Oh, you like hearing all the phone calls. Well, you're a part of this. You don't be a stranger. I know your number. I know you're calling from Timbuktu, a.k.a. South Dakota. Whereabouts in South Dakota, by the way, Shadow?
South of Sioux Falls.
All right. You want to be a general manager next Wednesday, or are you going to sit this one out?
Next Wednesday, I just want to fucking bring a call in.
All right, Shadow. I appreciate the call, man. That's great. I love it. All right. He's out of here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. We got some good callers, man. We really do. It makes me friggin' laugh. I love this show. 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. You got Curtis, who usually is smoking, right? He's smoking the herb, the Mary Jane. Mary Jane, Mary Jane. I love you, Mary Jane. I think that was a song by Rick James. Yeah, I think so. Maybe not the way I said it, but it was a song. Still a song. But he likes to do that. And then you got Jeremiah, the Shadow himself. He admits that he likes to get a buzz when watching the sports web. So we just got we got some crazy callers, but I love this. I love these guys. These are my callers. All right, you're absolutely correct. FYI, it's Frankie. Thank you. Whitehead is a boss. He is. Meltdown Media. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid to laugh my ass off, okay? Let's go out to, I believe this is Frankie again, using his second call. Frankie, welcome back to the Evolution.
Okay. I have 2 comments.
All right, go for it.
Well, actually, it's a comment and a question.
All right, give it to me.
Okay. Number 1, I enjoy the herbal supplements 24/7.
I think that's okay. I don't judge. I think it's funny because a lot of my callers really, they love that, and that's okay. I'm like, okay, well, you get a buzz, you watch the show, you have a good time. I did my job. It's great. And then you got Jeremiah, who enjoys the other side of it with the Budweisers.
Well, honestly, it helps me with the pain from the multiple sclerosis.
Well, then smoke them if you got them, my friend. Absolutely.
Well, yes,
do that. Yes.
And my question was, now, like, honestly, I was going to call back for the question, but then when you were talking herbal supplements, I had to jump in on that.
Of course, because I mentioned Mary Jane, and everybody wants to jump in and talk about it. Yeah.
Because I'm hanging out with Mary Jane right now, and she says hi. She wanted to let you know that she says hello.
Okay. What's that song, by the way? That Rick James song. Do you know it?
I'm in love with Mary Jane. Mary Jane.
Very good. Very good. Thank you very much. Yes.
Never ask a stoner something like that.
Well, then there you go. I've got stoners and drunks that call my show and crazy people in between. But you know what? I would not trade you guys for anything in the world. I love that.
Okay. So my question is, what's up with this general manager stuff on Wednesday?
Well, listen, we're going to do a fan draft, and you give an entry fee of $10, and we either get you on video or on the phone, and you make a pick for your respective team. Now, you could, I know there's people going to want to, try to be the general manager of the Bucs at 26, but really what you're trying to do is get an early team so you can win. And if you win, let's say you pick the Patriots and you get their pick right, the Patriots pick what you pick, then we buy you lunch for a $10 entry fee, and you get a chance to be on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. And the more fans we get, the better off it. The more interaction we get, the more engagement we get, and the more people we get watching. So it's pretty awesome with that going on.
Okay. Because I was like, dude, is this going to be like a fantasy thing where we're all sitting there and just being like, okay, we just pick a team and then be like, okay, we're doing a fan-friendly thing where it's like, okay, I'm going to pick the Bengals. So
right.
I think the Bengals need help at offensive linemen, so I'm going to draft this guy. But you're kicking in a bonus by saying you throw in $10, and if you get the pick right, then we're gonna kick you lunch.
We're gonna kick you lunch. So we're definitely gonna hang out with you here on the Sports Web. And the thing is, you can pick the Bengals, but you may have a pick that you want to get, but it may not be there because some other fan general manager may select that player. So you're gonna have to do your research on this, who you want to pick. And then you also have to get it right. So if you get it right with the Bengals, then you win. If you don't, then you get this. You get this.
This guy sucks.
You get this. You get this. You get this. There you go.
No whammies, no whammies, no whammies.
No whammies. Exactly. All right. What else, Frankie?
So, no, that was because it sounded really interesting, but like me, I'm on disability, so I ain't got the $10 to kick in. So, but I was like, dude, I would so do it if it didn't have the $10.
Well, you know what? Maybe we'll get you on. It just depends on how many people we have. I want to get as many fans on, so let's go ahead and play it by ear.
If you get if you got a spot that's open that you just want to throw somebody in there just for poops and giggles, dude, I'll do it for poops and giggles.
I'm sure you will. Okay, all right, Frankie. We'll see what we can work on here on the Evolution. Definitely. Keep on tuning in here. Keep on calling in. We'll be back on Monday night, and Wednesday night, of course, is the draft. All right?
All right, man.
Appreciate you. I may just have him in the draft any way it goes. Just because I like that guy. I love that guy. And everything he's gone through at this point. All right, David says, everybody keeps talking about the first round. What are your thoughts on the second round pick? Everybody keeps talking about that first round. You're absolutely right. Second round, I think they go with whatever they don't draft in the first round, which obviously, in my opinion, is going to be either a center or guard. And we'll get more into that, but I think that's where you could go because that is where the depth is going to be, and that's where your value is going to be, and that's where usually Jason Light makes most of his hay. Sounded more like Jabba. Well, it was pretty good Yoda there, but Jeremiah, the Shadow. I tell you what, let's go back to the Rashad White comments. He admitted on Monday that he needs to be more efficient in order to make a leap in 2024. This is what also he had to say. Right now, I'm not where I want to be in my career, yards per carry wise, things like that. Just being an efficient running back, I think for me, that's what the biggest next step is. Okay, he's efficient. The efficient running backs over the course of time. Like I said, I studied the game a lot. That average is at least 4.0 to 4.1 yards per carry and above. Guys like Walter Payton, it's tough. It's hard. Everybody had seasons where you average 3.0 something yards per carry due to whatever circumstances. The biggest thing for me is just studying the game, just understanding and being efficient this year. He also had this to say about Liam Cohen and his new offensive scheme. Obviously, I do want to be out in space a lot. I feel like I thrive well in space, of course. Liam showed clips of that, too, over time. Liam wasn't there, but like Todd Gurley and guys in the West Coast offense, like a Darrell Henderson, we've seen guys catching touchdowns out wide in empty sets, matched up against a linebacker. Of course, that's huge, as well as just learning. So, yeah, I'm excited for that, and I'll be prepared for that, and I'm pretty sure it will happen. So, some great comments there by Mr. White and his expectations of coming into 2024, how he can get better. And I know there's a lot of Bucs fans out there who want to see this team take a running back, possibly in the second or third round, like a Ray Davis out of Kentucky or Trey Benson out of Florida State, or some other guys that are out there, a kid from Wisconsin. It escapes me right now. I believe it's Braylon Allen. I think that's his name. Don't quote me on that because I'm trying to catch up on all these prospects right now. And we'll have that. We'll have more of those prospects, more of those opportunities of what the Bucs could do going forward. With that being said, I think we're going to wrap this up here with turnbuckle talk. And let's just talk about what's been going on here in WWE and AEW. Reports are that Vince McMahon has moved on, taking vacations, talking to Donald Trump, of all people. Of course, McMahon with all the allegations, being forced out of WWE, selling his shares. And the two guys that he is talking to right now as we speak are John Cena and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who, of course, is on the TKO board. He's not talking to anybody right now besides those parties. That was a recent report. Want to go out to the 6 Feet Under podcast with The Undertaker praising Roman Reigns. Of course, Reigns defeating The Undertaker, saying it's my yard now, some years back. And this is what The Undertaker had to say about Reigns in his title run over 1,300 days as a Universal Champion for WWE. There was a lot of really emotional moments backstage. You can imagine Roman coming back, and after just what an amazing run as a champion. I mean, it really, if you look at it, you put it in today's market, what a phenomenal run. It's not going to go down in the record books as the longest world title run, but when you look at it in all actuality, with it as much coverage, as much media, as much exposure that you have now, I mean, you have to go back to someone like Bob Backlund's run, Hulk Hogan's early run, and they didn't have a social media. They didn't have as much live TV as they didn't wrestle at all on TV. He also mentions Bruno Sammartino. So The Undertaker, once again, just realizing, how important not only is he to the business and to WWE, right? Because he's on that, that's when you talk about greatest of all time, the Mount Rushmores, the Undertaker's definitely on that, right? And then realizing that Roman Reigns in that title run and how important it was. And then coming out against the final boss, The Rock, on night 2. If you didn't see it, you definitely need to go and see it on Peacock, because it probably was, if not the greatest WrestleMania of all time, one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time. So The Undertaker there with some great comments for Reigns. Going on with AEW right now, of course, there was some controversy as Tony Khan released the footage of CM Punk and Jack Perry. And if you didn't see the footage, it basically is pretty clear that CM Punk and everything that he said was correct. That he wasn't lying about what he said happened, what transpired. Perry came up to him, he pushed him, and then next thing you know, Punk's got him in a chokehold. So why show the footage in the first place? Which, by the way, the reaction in the arena wasn't good. Wasn't good at all. Let me go out to Fat Mike here. Let's talk real sports. Baseball's here. Yeah, I've talked about it, Fat Mike, all night long. I haven't heard from you. I mean, it's been crickets for you. Well, we talked about the Rays. I mean, what do you want to talk about baseball? But yes, we're talking wrestling right now. Let's go out to Germany. Sad Rhea. His title run ends on injury. Absolutely. I mean, that was the other big story, right? You start out Raw. You've got all this momentum with Rhea coming out in a sling and saying she has to relinquish the women's world title. And she's going to be gone for 3 to 5 months with an injury because of the Liv Morgan attack backstage. Amazing stuff there. I mean, who was going to beat her? Not many people, but now that is opened up because she's out for 3 to 5 months. So a big-time wrestling story there on Monday Night Raw, which, by the way, was a great show that I didn't get a chance to watch. I watched the highlights of it. I heard about it. I saw it. It was phenomenal. Even Cody Rhodes explained, and I believe he did this on Friday Night SmackDown, why – well, actually, not Friday Night SmackDown. I think it was Friday Night SmackDown. What The Rock gave him, the story was that Cody gave everybody – signature Rolexes, and The Rock gave his back. All right, let's go out to Alex using his second call here. Welcome back to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. You're on Turnbuckle Talk, but I got a feeling you want to talk about something else, so go ahead.
Peter.
Yeah?
I'm sad about the Rays.
You're sad about the Rays. Okay.
Yes. We were 3 outs. We were literally 2 outs away.
2 outs away from closing it out, and Pete Fairbanks, the bed. Yes. Not good. Not good.
Listen, I wanted to come on real quick, say great show tonight, man.
Thank you.
I appreciate what you guys do.
Yeah.
Guys, please follow Peter. Especially, I'm going to start sharing. Peter's a new admin on our Rays page that's growing very, very, very fast. And some people are very excited to start joining his show. And just so you know, if you're a Rays fan, don't give up because the Rays are a game over 500. And I'm very confident that some guys are coming back, so we're going to be okay. Tough little things not tough. A couple little things to tweak out a little bit. But, if we can fix our closing situation, if you think about it, guys, think about it like this. If Peter Fairbanks has 3 blown saves in this early season, right?
Yeah.
9 outs.
Yeah.
9 outs.
Yeah.
The Rays would be tied with the Yankees for first place.
Yes. That's what it comes down to. And you're going to look back at that, and I know it's a long season, but a lot of Rays fans are going to look back at that and say, what could have been? And you hope that doesn't continue with Fairbanks, that it's not a thing, because it seems like it's becoming a thing. And once it becomes a thing, then it gets bigger and bigger, and then you have to address that with going with, maybe a bullpen by committee instead of Fairbanks being the all-time closer there.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, sure, go for it.
I'm not a manager, and I'm not. I don't.
You don't have to be.
Everybody's gonna say, "Well, you're not a manager." Blah blah blah.
Listen, I'm not a cook, and I don't proclaim that I can cook or play one on TV, but I know when something's burned. So I don't have to be a cook to know that, and you don't have to be. You don't have to play baseball or football to have an opinion here on the sports web. So go for it.
Well, here's my opinion. I want your thought about this.
Yeah.
Kevin Cash, congratulations. Been with the Rays going on his 10th season since the departing Joe Madden. And we all know those were some great days too. But Kevin Cash at his 10th season as a Tampa Bay Rays manager, in the entire 10 seasons I have seen this man manage, Kevin Cash, especially since the extra guy on extra innings rule became in effect, I have to say this is the only manager. And I saw this yesterday, and I think the Rays would have won way long ago before the 13th inning, and possibly saved a lot of arms, which could have changed the outcome of maybe Peter not coming in today, or Pete not coming in today. He does not believe in bunting the runner over. I mean, he's literally the only manager that I've ever seen not bunt the runner over. After the Rays got out of that big jam, Jose Siri made that big play. The very next inning, the Rays had a man on second, bunt the runner over. The very next at bat, I don't remember who it was, got a fly ball out. That would have been the game over. Why did Kevin Cash, or can you give me your opinion, why are we not using those small ball? You use small ball there, game over. You probably saved half your bullpen going an extra 3 innings in this case. Just small things like that. These are the small little things
I don't think you have the players to do it. I mean, who do you want to bunt in that situation? And like you said, the Rays don't really traditionally do that. They try to, and a lot of people look at it and say, well, it's easy. You bunt for the run, but you're only playing for 1 run. So if you get 1 run, you have the opportunity to lose by 2 runs. So why not go for it? And again, just to answer your question, the Rays really don't do that. Who will do that on this team? But I agree with you. You would like to see more of the small ball approach. You would also like to see when these guys are on, and we've seen it this year with Jose Siri and, of course, Rosarena, who is kind of came out of a slump tonight with Yandy, which is a good thing, and I think that'll continue. But when those guys do get on the base pads, you want them to use their speed so you can create those runs when it's tough you're not being able to depend on the long ball, because you can't depend on the long ball every night. You have to score runs. You have to get creative. So you're exactly right. You would like to see them do more of that. They just don't. And I don't know if they have the players to do it.
And small mistakes are hurting this team so far. Like today, I know you didn't catch the whole game because I know you were already starting your show.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, make sure you guys follow this man. It's one of the best shows out there.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Your check is in the mail, by the way.
A simple mistake. Did you see? I know you'll probably catch some of the game highlights, but who was pitching? I think Savali was still pitching.
Right.
I'm not Savali, but Littell was still pitching. And Littell did not call time. The runner snuck to second.
Right.
It was no outs. Got the runner over. There's your game-winning run for the Angels. That took that extra run. Even after the 9th inning fluke mistake by Fairbanks.
Yep.
Or it never happened. Simply a simple calling timeout hurt this team. It's just these little. The reason why I say that is
it's a mental mistake. It's the devil in the details, right, Alex? I mean, we always talk about it. It's in anything and everything. If it's not all right, like it's like this show. If there's one button that's not pushed correctly, then you're not able to hear me. If there's not one wire connected perfectly, then the Wi-Fi messes up. If we don't connect the channels right, if we don't do, so you have to do everything and the details have to be there. And if the details are not there, then you start to commit those mental mistakes, and those mental mistakes come back to haunt you, even versus a team like the Angels who are nothing to write home about. You have to have those type of details. You cannot commit those mental mistakes. And you're exactly right, my friend. Just a timeout in itself that will cost you. Alex, I got to run. I got to
All right,
go.
my friend. Thank you so much for having me, my friend.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you. Go Rays. Head up there. Let's go out to this guy right here. Let me go ahead and get some walk-up music for him. Here we go. All right, Mr. Fat Mike there, 1252 Chicago Sports. Long time no here. The center of the universe, Fat Mike, will be on draft night on Thursday night as I believe your Chicago Bears will finally get this right with Caleb Williams. Welcome to the Evolution.
How's it going, buddy? Long time no talk.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, we heard from Frankie tonight from 4 years who's in Wisconsin who was going through some personal stuff. He calls back, and then it's all about the family, my friend. It's all about you here. So what's on your mind?
It's all about family.
Yes.
Where's that soundbite, baby?
Oh,
Where's
man,
that soundbite?
I'm not going with that soundbite. Maybe go with that soundbite. I'm thinking about using soundbites for all the callers that call in here because we can't necessarily do the walk-up music that they want.
Hey, Bear Down Chicago Bear is always a go-to. I like
of course,
that
for you, absolutely. We'll do that
for you. Anything. No, I wanted to touch base. I tuned in and you guys are talking wrestling. What the hell's going on around here?
Well, we talk wrestling here on Wednesday night. It's called Turnbuckle Talk. I usually have my co-host here, Mr. Mark Mancini, but we ran long tonight because we were talking Bucs draft. We were talking around the NFL and rumors. We were talking about baseball. Nikita Kucherov with 100 assists, 5th player in NHL history. So it's been a cornucopia, if you will, Leo word of sports subjects tonight, not just wrestling. So wrestling.
Kucherov, 100 assists. McDavid, 100 assists.
Yep.
NHL playoffs kicking around right around the corner.
Love
Baseball going strong. Love it.
Yeah.
The Rays ain't doing too hot, but it's okay.
It's early in the season, but another blown save.
Early.
Yeah, that's a red flag at this point.
It's still early, and I'll come and participate in your Tampa Bay talk from time to time.
Sure.
I like the side. I told you last year that they were going to stick with Baker Mayfield, and they did.
Yes, they did.
They did. I like that. That's cool.
I showed up at the press conference, by the way, too. They did the
I seen
current.
that.
Yeah. My mug right there smiling. And somebody tipped me off on that, and they're like, "You're in the video." I was like, "Yeah, I was at the press conference. I asked the question."
I tell you what, Pete. I tell you what. You got a face made for video. Let me tell you. You got a face made for video. You got one of those George Clooney mugs on you. Usually it's the other way around. Usually it's you get a face made for radio. You know what I mean? But you got something else going on for you.
I'll take it. I'll take the salt and pepper, the George Clooney look. Hell, man, I don't know if I'm as rich and as good looking as George Clooney, but to be compared to him, hell, I'll be the George Clooney at sports broadcasting. In that, George Clooney, he didn't start out in acting until 32, 33 years old, became a superstar. I feel like I'm late to the dance, but I'm right on time here because I got the Sports Web and all my friends calling every night here on the Evolution. Yes,
you're doing a good job, buddy.
Thank
you're
you,
doing
sir.
a good job.
Appreciate
You're still killing it. You're still killing it. So, early predictions.
Yes.
All right, early predictions. Where does Tampa Bay Buccaneers finish this year?
I think they win the division. I said they could have 11 wins, 10 wins. I still think they could have 11 or 10 to 11 wins this year. They could be a lot better offensively, especially with Liam Cohen being the offensive coordinator, having more experience. So you're not going to have, trouble like you had with Dave Canales getting off the ground. This offense could be better. I say 10 or 11 wins. I don't think it's far-fetched. You have a weak division there. Everybody's getting on the bandwagon for the Atlanta Falcons with Kirk Cousins. But that defense can go. That offense can go. And Baker, we trust at this point.
Well, you got to. I mean, you don't have any other options.
Right.
So, yeah, I tell you what, though, being a Chicago fan, I am jealous of Tampa Bay sports right now. All my sports think up here, they're terrible.
Well,
is Harry still with you, or did you already kick him off?
Oh, he's gone. He had to go to bed. That's what old people do sometimes. They've passed his curfew.
His White Sox are terrible.
They are terrible. They picked up with their 3rd win. God, that's awful. How are the Cubs doing?
The Cubs are doing good. They got to win today. They got to win today.
Okay. Go Cubs, go.
Yeah, they got to win today. Nice West Coast road trip, finishing out 5-4. But That's a tough road trip, man. Dodgers. You had the Dodgers, you had the Diamondbacks in there, you had the Padres in there, and you come back 5-4 with no big right fielder and Seiya Suzuki, who went down with an abductor. Then you got Justin Steele going down with a hammy. So I mean, you come out 5-4 without your two of your guys that are carrying you so far through the first 9 games of through the first 11 games of the season. 13 games of the season, you come out okay. But no, I'm jealous of Tampa Bay sports. I got Tampa Bay Bucs going on, playing good. They're the favorites for the division, like you said. You got Tampa Bay Lightning down there playing great puck. And like you said, Nikita Kucherov, all those guys down there, big playoff puck. You got Tampa Bay Rays, hopefully getting a return back to the playoff spot this year. Hopefully not choking it out at the end of the year and losing it to Baltimore.
Right, scoring one run at a time in the postseason like they did against Texas. Yeah, that was that was awful.
The champion. I mean, you can't blame him, man. The Rangers won the championship.
I could definitely blame them. Because Texas did what I said that Tampa Bay should do. They went out in the trade deadline and they got better, not only pitching wise but lineup wise. And the Rays go with guys that are young because they have all these injuries instead of making the big moves there at the deadline, trying to go for the World Series.
They never have. They never have made the big move.
And that's the problem. And they don't spend the money. And I love the Rays. Again, I continue to love the Rays, but it's hard to be a fan of this team because they have so much potential, but it's almost like a superhero movie every year with this team. And I'm like, come on, finish the story. I want an Avengers Endgame. I'm tired of the little engine that could. I'm tired of, Captain America saves everybody. Everybody has a good ending, a happy ending. I want a bad ending, and then I want to finish the story. I want something different from a superhero movie. I'm tired of it. I'm tired.
Well, I mean, it's almost like the Cinderella story with those guys every year. Small market club.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be, right? It doesn't have to be.
Right, exactly.
It's a damn shame because they should have been there. Whoever does their scouting and stuff like that does a damn good job because that is a good team.
Yeah.
So, but no, I just wanted to check in with you. Say, hey, good job, keep it going. I'll let you get back to turnbuckle talk or sweaty man wrestling talk or whatever you want. You do what you got to do, but I'll let you. Turnbuckle biters? Is that what you call it?
You shut up and be quiet. Who do you picking at 9 this year? If you're picking Caleb Williams at 1, which how do you feel about that? Okay, but how do you feel about Caleb Williams? You have any problem with him having a?
Honestly, you want to know how I feel about you? It's how I feel about the entire Bears situation right now. I feel how every White Sox fan should feel about their team. That's how I feel about the Bears. I think
there's more positivity with the Bears at this point, though, isn't
there? Yeah, I'm sure there is because they got the number 1 pick for the second year in a row, and they got 2 in the top 10.
Well, you got 2 talented wide receivers. You got Keenan Allen, and you got DJ Moore coming back from last year. Very talented. You also got DeAndre Swift as a running back there.
Which makes absolutely – don't even get me started on that. I'd much rather have David Montgomery, who's being paid cheaper in Detroit, who's the better running back, better all-around back, and who could stay healthy for 16 games.
Okay.
And I mean –
fair enough.
It's just I'm not doubting polls. It's the same ship.
You're cautiously optimistic. I understand.
No, I'm honestly the reason why I will watch football this year is because I love the game.
Okay.
Not because I'm a Bears fan. My days of being a Bears fan have hit a point where I don't know if I could stomach anymore.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. up here when I was doing the stuff with 1252 and stuff like that, I was being hard doing a show, doing as many shows as I possibly could, going out and doing my thing and having fun with it. But this Bears team, I completely unfollowed every Bears group that I was in. And I completely stopped paying it. I stopped listening to sports radio because it's the same stuff every day.
Wow.
I know exactly what's going to happen. I can outline it for you right now. Here's what's going to happen. The Bears are going to have the number 1 pick. They're going to draft Caleb Williams. They're going to draft Roma Dunze, the best tackle available at 9, which is going to be either Joe Alt or Fashanu out of Penn State. That's what they're going to do.
I love that.
Which makes sense.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense because it's a typical Ryan Poles. It's a typical, Ryan Poles
It's
move.
the right move to make because you're trying to protect your quarterback, and I understand you want to go with the talented position.
You have to. And
Right.
the guy, I'm not taking anything Poles has done negatively.
Sure.
He's trying to fix a broken organization, and I commend the man for it. I truly do. But it's the same situation of what's going to happen again. You're going to grab Caleb Williams. You're going to let him play out underneath a coach who was on the hot seat last year in Eberflus. And Eberflus, after this year or next year, will get fired. And a whole new team of people will be coming in there, replacing your head coach, replacing your offensive coordinator, replacing your defensive coordinator, doing all that stuff. And again, a quarterback that you bring in will have to learn a whole new system. And it'll happen again. And if that doesn't go right, then you're going to do it again. You're going to fire your offensive coordinator and bring in another one. And this kid's going to have to learn another playbook. Everything up here in Chicago, it's hit or miss. It's either they love this kid or they think he's a little light in the loafers. And I don't care. You want to wear lipstick or lip gloss, or I don't care if you wear a girdle. I don't care if you wear a girdle and a thong. I don't care.
It's weird.
I don't care. You can throw for 45 touchdowns and 5,000 yards. Go right ahead. I don't care if you play with your shit duct tape to your ass. I don't care. All right. But what it boils down to is it's exactly what's going to happen. I'm calling it right now, and this is a week ahead of the draft. That's exactly what's going to happen. In 3-4 years, we're going to be having this same exact conversation. What are the Bears going to do with their first round pick? Because Arch Manning is now available in the draft.
Oh my God. I don't want to have this conversation with you again. I'm hoping it turns out right. I have question marks about him, but I think it will all be answered. And if anything else, if there's anything positive you take out of this, I think the difference between getting Caleb Williams and getting Justin Fields is you're going to have a team that's going to be set up around them. You have two talented wide receivers, veteran guys. You have a running game. You're fixing the offensive line. I think it's all positive from here. I think if there's a year you want to tune in and watch this team, this will be this year. I may be wrong. Again, you've been a Bears fan longer than I have. I don't know as much as you do about the team, but I think all positive at this point. I think you should definitely reconsider, especially this year.
I don't know, man. It's hard for me to get on board. I mean, I'll watch from a distance and hopefully they do good, but me being the rooting, tooting, shotgun shooting lover of the Bears, I think those days are far behind me.
I don't know. I think you still have love. You always love. You always have the love there. If you love the Bucs, you love the Bucs. If you love the Bears, you love the Bears no matter what. No matter what happens, even though they break your heart, you still come back. You know why? You love them, and love makes you do emotional, stupid stuff, but that's the reason why we tune into shows like the Sports Web. Fat Mike, thanks a lot for your time, my friend. It's all about family. Always be on here, man. Don't be a stranger. Use that second call if you want to. All right, my friend?
Take care, Peter. Have a good one.
All right, good stuff there. Let me go ahead and read these comments, and I think I'm going to end it for the night. We'll talk about Turnbuckle Talk another time here. We'll probably address it next Wednesday. I'm pretty much tired at this point. I'm nearly at 3 hours with no commercial breaks. Let's see here. Hearing rumors, Bliss is returning and possibly winning the world title as well. Of course, being a part of the new Wyatt family led by Uncle Howdy. Of course, Bo Dallas, the brother of Mr. Bray Wyatt there, Wyndham Rotunda. So that's certainly possible. Fat Mike, Chicago Sports. Can CM Punk hit a curve ball? I don't know if he can hit a curve ball, but everything that's been thrown to him right now has been a home run from WWE standpoint when it comes to being on the mic, being in the ring, even though he's injured. He has been aces for WWE. The Yanks are banged up, absolutely. So how good is Tampa really? We shall see, because it is a long season, but right now the bullpen blows one tonight. Bunting is dumb. Fat Mike says because it's for a sure out. It's a good point. Until Stu sells the team, the Rays will never win a World Series. I agree with you, Jeremy, on that. I've said that. Again, I love the Rays, but I think there's a limitation, especially when you get to the offseason And if you're not going to spend money at the trading deadline or get players to make moves, this is what you're going to eventually get. And Jeremiah says, all right, going to bed. All Shadow says, good night, be safe. Oh, thanks a lot, Shadow. You're drinking in your home right now. Hopefully you've got a nice little buzz. Thanks a lot to all the guests for the night. Keep on tuning into the Evolution. Thanks to the legend Leo Haggerty. Thanks to Harry the Greek, of course, and all the great guests and callers, because once again, the Tampa Bay sports fan, you are the lifeblood. Do me a favor. Facebook stars are out there. If you love the content, give to it. YouTube super chats are out there. If you loved the content, give to it. Like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Go on Instagram, pblake1003. I'm there. Go ahead and friend me on Facebook at Peter H. Blake and do 3 things for me on this happy hump day edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And for fans of the Sports Web and the Tampa Bay sports fan, it's your time. 8 days away, less time until the NFL Draft is coming. Can you feel the breeze? It's coming through. We'll have your NFL Draft coverage here live on the Sports Web Monday and Wednesday of next week. Keep on tuning in, and who knows, maybe we'll find a venue by then on Thursday night for the NFL Draft Live. You guys have a great night. This show is 1,000 times better than any radio or TV show because of Peter and actually interacting with the fans. I love the fans. I mean, this is what I envision. When I started this show at the radio station and it was 1,000 watts and we had nobody calling in and we had to create these characters, and I always talk about Rich from Clearwater and the reason why that vehicle was created, because we didn't have any callers. So we had to create callers, and we gave the callers the opportunity to call in twice. And we used to give them the walk-up music. And damn it, I would do the walk-up music if it was not for copyright on Facebook or YouTube. But I am monetized now, so I have to mind my P's and Q's. But I love that. I love interacting with the Tampa Bay sports fan. Sean, the sports Don, loved interacting with the sports fan. This is what this was built on. This is what this show was all about. Whether it's one person watching, 10 people watching, 100 people watching, 1,000 people watching, 10,000 people watching, 100,000 people watching, 1 million, which is the goal of this show, it doesn't matter. We're always going to interact with you because you mean something and you are the lifeblood.